And this tribute from several of the players today wearing knickers to honor Payne Stewart's resplendent appearance on the golf course. You see a familiar figure of Ernie Els in this, some of the clothing of Payne Stewart being worn by Orlando neighbor Stuart Appleby. The memorials may be done, but the tributes are not, as we join you live from Champions Golf Club in Houston, Texas, for the final round of the 1999 Tour Championship presented by Southern Company. On the golf course, the day will be normal, 18 holes. The final event in the States. We have 5 hours of coverage here on ESPN2 and then ABC for 3. The leaders yet to tee off. 19 of the 29 players competing in the final round are out there. Tiger Woods starting the day leading by 3. As you look back, David Duval has just teed off at noon Central, 1 Eastern time. And you see how the players are going and underway with an odd number in the field, 29. We have one player out on his own. That's Mike Weir, who was in the same position yesterday. And Mike is at even par through 7 holes as the players complete these 18 holes today, end the Tour Championship, and move on for most of them to one final event for the 99 season, the World Golf Championship over in Spain. And the on-the-course story will become Tiger Woods and his effort to win yet another tournament this year and make it 7 victories on the PGA Tour. Good afternoon, Mike Tirico, Curtis Strange. Glad that you've joined us for the end of what has been a long and emotional week. And what a great tribute, and in many ways a positive to try to end the week in the playing memory of Payne Stewart, with so many of the players wearing knickers. We should point out, not all of the players are wearing knickers. The feasibility of logistically trying to get the right sizes and the knickers for every player, that couldn't be done. But as many as could do it are doing it, and the guys look great up there on the range this morning.
You know, they really did, but I will say this, the one guy who's laughing more than anybody else is Payne Stewart himself. The different body shapes, the different waistlines, he would be having fun right now. Tom Lehman is to be congratulated. He is the one that got this all together. It's wonderful to see with the ribbons, the hats, the knickers, the pins, everything to remember Payne. Certainly we won't forget him anytime soon.
Yep. And as we said, as many of the players as could wear them are wearing them out there today, and because of sizing and other issues, logistics, they couldn't get everyone in them, but the tribute nonetheless is really a special one. On the golf course, as we talk about returning to normalcy, it's been things as normal for 99 on the PGA Tour. As we talked about earlier in SportsCenter, here's Tiger Woods with an opportunity to win a 7th tournament this year. And Curtis, in the depth of the fields in this era of golf, it is hard to believe that somebody could be in contention to win for a 7th time on tour in a year.
He's actually had a chance to win many more, and he actually has a chance to win his 7th tournament in really the second half of the year. He's won 6 of the last 10. He says himself, I have it. His swing feels so good. He's very, very confident, and I think that's the major part. Yes, he's long. He has a wonderful short game. He has a wonderful swing, but he believes in himself right now, and that's a large part of it.
And Tiger teeing off in a little more than an hour. We'll have full 18-hole coverage of Woods in the last group with Chris Perry and the rest of the players as they chase towards the $5 million on the line. Tiger Woods on the practice tee. He does tee off in 42 minutes at 12:45. Woods, one of the players, as many of them who they tried to find knickers for didn't get a pair, but it doesn't mean that Payne's memory is not on their minds any less than the players who are in knickers today.
And it's also an individual thing, too. You know, the golf tournament does go on. Tiger Woods is trying to do something that hadn't been done many times in the world of golf. David Duval, all of them, they want to, you know, do what's comfortable for them. They're certainly remembering Payne in their own way. There you see old Butchie Harmon, and I was talking to Butch the other day, and he said, I said, what are you saying to the guy right now? What are you helping with? He says, nothing. Nothing at all. I just talk to him, have some fun, relaxing, and let him go play.
Well, glad you're with us for these 2 hours on ESPN, then 3 on ABC Sports, and our colleagues are here with us as normal. Ian Baker Finch and Steve Melnick, along with Peter Alice, describing the action. It's Frank Hannigan here if we have any rules questions to sort out. And on the golf course, 3 reporters, Gary Smith, Judy Rankin, and Mark McCumber. We'll be hearing from them before and during play beginning for the last few groups. We're going to take you over to the opening hole of this long par 71 golf course that measures 7,220 yards. The 10th group out today is David Duval and John Houston. They've just teed off at this par 4. Mark McCumber will start the round with these guys. Mark?
Well, David drove his ball in the right fairway bunker. He's got about 212 yards And after that rain yesterday, they've raked these bunkers and they're fluffed up a little bit. It's not going to be easy to catch this ball cleanly.
David Duval, rounds of 70, 71, and the third round yesterday, 67, 4 under par.
David hadn't been sharp. Last couple of months, he's played well. You know, he has so much talent. Even not being sharp, he can contend once in a while, but just hasn't been quite as sharp as he was the first half of the year when he won 4 tournaments by April.
And John Houston with Duval.
Sitting a 4-iron, 209 yards. The little bit of wind that's here is right to left and at their back.
If you have not been with us during the week, large greens. Certainly a characteristic that you walk away from Champions remembering for a long time.
Large greens with a lot of grain. They all fall off the slopes, and there you saw that ball running out.
Over at 4, Steve has the call.
All right, Nota Begay, one of the wonderful surprises of the 1999 campaign. Tee shot on this long par 3. Very nice with the flagstick left. They won't be flirting too much with that today. And as we take a look at the practice putting green, crowds are huge today as they anticipate perhaps another Tiger Woods win. He certainly closed it off when he's had the lead. The defender played beautifully yesterday, shot a round of 64 to put himself back into contention. Hal Sutton is not going to just concede the title to Tiger Woods.
ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and the PGA Tour, proud to bring to you the opening of our 5 hours of final round coverage of the Tour Championship, presented by Southern Company. It all takes place here at Champions Golf Club. Jimmy Demerit and Jackie Burke, the people who came up with the idea for this beautiful golf facility, lengthy golf course. We go to the second, and Peter Alice has the call there.
Thank you, Mike. Here's Carlos Franco, his second shot on this good par 4, 457 yards.
Carlos is 5 under par, but he hasn't driven it in many fairways this week. Every time we see him, he's in the rough. There you see the rough not very tall.
But that divot certainly exploded, and it looked as if it was a fairly dry lie considering the amount of rain we had yesterday. And there you saw it stop very quickly on the front of the green, but a good shot. Not so easy to get to the flag. This hole just playing over its par, just crept over. It's 4.01, so it's a true 4, and playing relatively easily, you have to say. He's playing with Jeff Sluman today.
Slew actually said, Peter, that he was going to hit one shot on the first tee, then try to change into his regular pants he has in his golf bag, because they're tearing into his leg right below the knee. But obviously he hasn't found the spot to do it yet.
All right. Yeah, I thought it might stay.
The thong too tight.
Put a wind up there. Flush the heck out of it. It was a good one. Oh, yeah.
He doesn't cut off the blood to his feet. Let's go join the sensible Mrs. Rankin.
Chris, you are capping off a couple of really wonderful years with a great opportunity today.
Yeah, Judy, I've really played well, really since '94, ever since I went back to the Nike Tour. '95 was okay, but '97, '98, you know, finished 46th and 38th on the money list. And I've reached just about all my goals this year. Top 30 was my number. I felt I was a good enough player to get there. I haven't won yet. And then starting off as well as I did through March, the ultimate goal would have been to make the Ryder Cup team, and I came up just a little bit short. So the goals really are continuing for the President's Cup for next year. I really would like to be a part of a team, and you know, I've got a good start on that. The money's double next year, so I'm going to have to continue to play really well.
Okay, 2 things. You have not played a competitive round with Tiger Woods, but you did shoot 64 here in the second round. Is that what it will take?
in talking with Mr. Burke and a couple of the assistants here, I understand with the wind coming out of the north is when the course plays its toughest. Now, I've only played 4 rounds of golf with a practice round, the Pro-Am, so I understand that this is the tough wind. So I don't know how low it's going to take. Obviously, Tiger's the best player in the world with a 3-shot lead. He's going to be tough to beat, and someone's going to have to go and catch him. You know, I'm interested in winning. I'm going to do all I can to win. If not, then I'll just, you know, play accordingly, but that's what I'm out here to do.
You have to feel as though the way you have played recently and certainly this year, you might very well be due.
Well, you know, I just try to be prepared every single week. I've had, I don't know, 13 top 10 finishes, a couple of chances. I really thought I should have won at Westchester, and in Hilton Head with a little bit of a break, I probably could have won there. But you know, you just keep plugging along, and all I can do is just do the best I can do.
Thanks for talking with us, Chris. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Chris Perry, who was talking about Mr. Burke, Jackie Burke, former Ryder Cup captain, Masters and PGA champ, PGA Hall of Famer as well. Here's Duval at the first for par. Nice save. Missed the fairway, missed the green, got up and down.
And just to continue what we were talking about earlier this week about Chris Perry, he is due. He's playing well enough. He's, you know, I look for him to break through here sometime soon.
That's the third.
That was Nick Price just chipping up there from the back left-hand corner. He'll tap that in for his par. Pricey said he was really looking forward to going out and playing today in the knickers because he used to do it in South Africa in the early 80s and feels pretty comfortable in them. Back to 2.
Carlos Franco, third shot. It's like today 18 paces up the green and just 7 in from the left-hand side, and he's done well to get that within about a yard, 4 feet maybe. Very interesting character, Mr. Franco. Very talented and a very good, fun player to watch. To the third.
Jeff Maggott eyeing up what he has left here from about 50 feet or so over the ridge. The course is in wonderful condition this week. It's a good golf course, long, lots of long par 4s. This one of the shorter holes. And you just watch this, just keep rolling down towards the edge of the green. We'll see a lot of that over play today because as the ball gets closer to the edges, the grain is more severe. The slopes will carry the ball off the greens in certain places. And we'll leave them there and head over to my mate Gary Smith on the practice range.
Thank you, Ian. Brent, congratulations on a terrific year. This is the first time you've been in this championship, getting into the top 30. How does it feel?
Feels nice. It's nice to be here. A lot of fun. Always dreamed of getting to play in some of these tournaments, and finally coming true.
It's not long ago that you were on the Nike Tour. Are you now starting to feel comfortable in this type of field, in this situation?
Yeah, especially after you win a tournament, you feel a little more acceptance, I think, and it feels nice to participate in these events, and you get to be a lot of friends with a lot of these guys, and you feel more comfortable out here.
Okay, today Tiger Woods is obviously leading. He's got you by 5 shots at the moment. Are you going to go out there with a formal plan, or are you just going to go out there and sort of see what happens?
Well, I mean, I know what I can do out there, and try and play my best and try and put a few birdies up on the board early for myself to get going, and see what happens after that.
Well, congratulations on a terrific year. We hope you have a good day.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Gary.
Thank you. Back to you, fellas.
Now out at 4, Justin Leonard, who many thought would really be a factor this week, is just 4 under. Struggle coming in yesterday. It was a long day. It was an emotional day. That's a 6 iron from 203, right at it. Look at this. When you're in that position, you can take a few chances. Back at 2.
Franco now for a par 4. Just a little tentative. He knew it was quick, and well, I suppose one could say that putting is, he's not a super putter, let's put it that way. He's a fine strike of the ball. Missed the fairway, missed the green, opens up with a 1 over. Drops a stroke there. 4 under now. And a little bit warm. Leaders yet to go out. Davis Love is next to go off. That's the 12:18 starting time. And we'll join Mike on the first.
Par 4 that measures 457 yards. The people from the Houston Golf Association made wonderful friendships during our years of covering the Shell Houston Open with those folks, and they help out in the administration and the efforts here at the Tour Championship. It's so nice to see Randy Arnaud, the other folks, Bert Darden, those guys from the HGA. Earl Elliott, a member of the HGA, Houston Golf Association, is announcing the players who are being greeted by Commissioner Tim Fincham on the first tee. You see 2 familiar faces who look great in this look, to be very honest.
Davis is first.
2 of the players who were as emotional this week as any of the competitors in dealing with the loss of Payne Stewart, and the strength of Tom Lehman helped so many of these players saying what others felt.
He was wonderful Thursday morning. I know we all attended, and you know, he put into words what we all felt. He's a great representative of our tour, and the small, I don't know if it's small fraternity or large fraternity we have out here. It's like a big family, but
small fraternity, large extended family.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's tragic that we came together at a time like this, but I think we all learned from it and feel much closer.
Davis, Tom, good luck to both of you today.
And this is what you do on the first tee. Hurry up and wait. Don't be late. You can't afford to be late because there's penalties with that. But when you get there, you stand around. You have to keep loose, swing a golf club, talk a little bit. Because some players you play with, it's the last time you're going to talk to them.
12:18 starting time. From Sea Island, Georgia, Mr. Davis Love.
7 under 64 his first 18 holes. Didn't play as well as the 27 holes wore on, in part that shoulder injury that's been bothering Davis crept up a little bit. 73 yesterday.
And this is a 3-wood. Just to put it right at the corner of the dog leg, right at the bend. Ideal position there.
From Alexandria, Minnesota, Mr. Tom Lehman.
Long as Davis Love, just behind him.
Number 23 on the money list, Tom Lehman. Of course, finishing in the top 30 gets you an invitation to the Tour Championship each year, and an opportunity to make the trip next week to the World Golf Championship, American Express Championships. To the second.
And David Duval. Second shot.
That's 781 yards right downwind.
Well, it's a beautiful result. Just missed that sprinkle ahead. I don't know what would have happened if it had pitched on that. It could have gone anywhere. But it's ended up very close to the flag. Good shot from David. Up to 4.
Leonard to cap off a beautiful play in here. Well, it has been that kind of week for Justin Leonard. It's the final round of the Tour Championship. We're in Houston, and Mr. Woods has the lead.
ESPN's presentation of the 1999 Tour Championship is being brought to you by America's newest tire store. Quality care service at participating Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
David Duval has this putt at the second for a birdie. Swing quick. Touches it, should swing left. Swings beautifully right into the hole. So Duval, birdie's the second. Who knows what the day will bring. We're going to see, I wonder, one of his electrifying rounds. He's a long way behind, but that wouldn't stop him doing something super. Up to the 8th.
All right, Peter, the 8th hole measures 182. And Jim Furyk on the tee. Winner a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas. He's owned that tournament with his great play.
He's trying to hit the ball.
He's coming off a birdie on 7.
Steve, flag stick dangerously close on the left side. Anything on the left of the green should go in the water.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of folks bailing out here.
Yes, I do.
And if anything left of the green there, the bank has been cut down to, I think, sub-fairway height, shall we say.
Get on top of it. It'll be nice.
It's a 5-iron for Furyk. You see a lot of balls to the right of this flag stick. It's crazy to bring 5 into the equation. Just make your par and tiptoe to the 9th tee where you can reach in 2. Par 5. Back at 1.
And the second shot for Davis Love.
Good solid shot. That's all you want to do on the first hole. Hit a nice solid tee shot. Nothing fancy. Good solid second shot.
8 again.
That's Lauren Roberts with a 5-iron.
Right hand. Good swing there, man.
Caddy likes it. It's always easier to fire at the flag stick when you're 13 shots out of the lead. Not to take anything away from the shot. It was a fine shot by Mr. Roberts. 8th hole in the middle of your screen. 7 to your right. 9 to the left. And to the first hole we go.
Let's take a look at the first hole. Slight little dog leg to the left. Beautiful starting hole. Like I said just a minute ago, you just want to hit a solid drive. Most of the players hitting a 3-wood to that area. Then left with a 7, 6-iron, maybe a 5-iron into a green that's fairly open. Just want to hit a good solid second shot, get into the flow of the round, get some momentum. If you make birdie, wonderful, but you want to just make a solid par. There you see some water fronting the front left of the green. Really not into play because the flag stick is back center today.
You'll see later on in our ABC coverage a great similarity between holes number 1 and 10. Look at the trophy that will go to the champion. At the end of the day, Duffy Waldorf and Hal Sutton, the third to last duo to go off the first tee. Duffy there in conversation with PGA Tour Commissioner Tim Fincham, and that gives us a reminder in a moment to take our hats off to the PGA Tour. They have never dealt, obviously, with a situation like this and did all the right things in terms of when we played this week and all tours involved, giving everyone an opportunity to play golf and remember Payne Stewart as Lehman misses the birdie putt.
Yeah, we certainly don't want to forget that the tournament going on down in Mississippi. Didn't play on Friday. Many of those players going into the memorial service.
Tour Championship champion, Mr. Hal Sutton.
The man who won at East Lake in Atlanta last year shot 64 in his final 18 yesterday to find himself at 7 under par and at least within striking distance.
And if he makes a few putts and Get something going, can really shoot a low score. Not his best there, but you still see the top of the
Now
ball.
on the tee, from Valencia, California, Mr. Duffy Waldorf.
The last man in the field, 30th on the money list. Starts the day tied for 5th. Duffy had a long Sunday last week watching to see if anybody was going to make a move. And the tough conditions at Walt Disney World Resort kept Duffy at number 30. On the green at 1, here's Davis Love trying to open the round with a birdie.
As you said earlier, didn't finish very well yesterday. Needs to get something going early. And good putts that don't go in early don't help the cause, obviously, mentally and physically.
So Davis made his par at 1, and Tom Lehman followed up by cleaning up his putt at 1. They both open with a par. It's the final day of the Tour Championship presented by Southern Company. The last 2 groups still to come off the first tee in our 18-hole 2-network coverage.
Now the 5th hole, Justin Leonard has this putt for a birdie. First of the par 5s here at the Champion Club. A lot of birdies on this hole this week so far. Just over 500 yards in length, reachable in 2 for many. Back to 3.
Third hole, par 4, dogleg to the right. Obviously, David missing long left of the green. Very nicely done there. Laws aren't very good around these greens. Not a whole lot of rough, so there's not a whole lot of cushion.
Here at 1, Duffy's second shot.
Did it win?
Oh,
Yeah, it'll win.
Mention after the rain and the cold front, the wind has turned. Northerly breeze, a cooling breeze. It's far less humid and much more comfortable today in Houston, Texas than it was yesterday. Hal Sutton missed to the left of the first fairway. Deal with those trees and the rough.
Oh, man.
That will be a fun putt to watch. That's a typical Champions Golf Course putt, some 100 feet.
Third hole.
David Duval now putting for par. And par birdie par for him. And there's the putting green. We've just stepped back behind the 1st and 10th tees. And the final pair, obviously, just getting ready to focus. That's Butch Harmon with his back to us. Tiger Woods just striking a couple in. Good time to focus on what's going to be happening over the next 4 hours. Perhaps another win for Tiger. We'll be back shortly.
I'm back at 1 with the Geiberger group, Jack.
On the local affiliate here, they had
Little
Jerry
different,
Pate
huh?
on the leaderboard this week.
Jerry.
He likes it.
Yes.
Hey, you are going to get back Hal Sutton's putt there on the first, aren't you? Oh, yeah.
Phil the Mick.
That's your whole pick? No?
9 is my hole, yes. Is that where they are?
You know, everybody's feet looks big. With
No.
No, nobody. No.
Jeff, do you see their clock as a minute and a half slow?
Mickelson. That was his third shot.
What, he put the first one in?
Yeah, and then now he's about to put his place fifth.
Phil doesn't look into it.
Well, he'll go on your cue if it's no more than a minute different. Okay. Oh, no. No, well, not this group. You don't want this group, do you? Well, I can cue him for this one. Okay.
Jeez. Whenever you guys get all settled in this, let me know.
No.
No, I've got 4 hours to do that. 4.5 hours to do that.
Steve opened the door. I was going to. Well, the golf fans of Houston, many of them around the practice tee, the putting green, and in the bleachers at number
Brent,
1.
Steve, good luck to you both.
Second to last group about to go off.
First on the tee for the 12:36 starting time, from Palm Desert, California, Mr. Brent Geiberger.
Age 31, first tour win. Came this year in Cromwell, Connecticut at the Greater Hartford Open.
Brent, the adopted stepson from Al Geiberger, but it's phenomenal. Same build, same setup, same swing.
Now on the tee, from North Ranch, California, Mr. Steve Haight.
Steve was laughing earlier about his shirt today and his Argyle socks. Don't really go real well together. In typical Steve Pate fashion.
Pate starts the day 5 back. Over at the first green, Hal Sutton is back there somewhere, we promise you. That for birdie line was just for fact purposes.
Tough putt here. Uphill into the green to about that position now, cresting downhill a little bit. Just one of those putts you don't practice very often. Probably a little more so here this week because the green is so large.
Well, remember last year on November 1st in the day's final light in the playoff with VJ Singh. First extra hole, Hal Sutton. One of the best metalwood plays you'll ever see.
Forward to about 4 feet. Just a wonderful golf shot. Put a lot of heat on VJ, and VJ hit a good shot himself, just didn't come in there very close.
Hal made the birdie putt to win $720,000 first prize in last year's Tour Championship. To save par at 1. Ahead 1, second hole.
Davis Love at the second. That's about an 18-footer for a 2, a birdie. Love had a very up and down 18 yesterday because the weather changed dramatically in many plays. Just let a few shots slip at crucial moments. Davis particularly had things going very well and then had a couple of wayward shots and he paid dearly for them. It's a quick one and it just drifts from that side. It just seemed to wander away to the left-hand side of the hole and it's very fast. Well, that's a safe par for Davis Love. So he's 7 under, but that's 6 behind Tiger Woods. Perry now is in the final group with Tiger. Putting green looks a fairly lonely place. Tiger with Butch having a bit of a carefree conversation, just settling his man, just getting him ready in the paddock before leading him to the first tee.
Stuart Appleby on the tee at the 8th 182-yard par 3. Careful. Careful.
That's what I don't like, Steve.
I don't understand the logic in the agronomics. How's that?
Whatever you said, very well put.
Well, the joy is I'll hear the two of you in a different language this coming week. We'll be in Spain.
How's your Spanish?
17 horas de televisión of the World Golf Championships, the American Express Championship. We start Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. 17 hours of coverage on ESPN and ABC. How was that, Senor?
That was okay. That was okay.
At 1. Second shot, Steve Payne.
Really, I've only seen him. This is a 5-iron, 200 yards.
I'm going home. And Mickey's coming out, so we're going to fly out Monday from LA.
Voice of Mark McCumber with this group. Champion in this event 5 years ago. Outstanding shot from Payne.
Very underrated player, I think. Good striker of the ball, able to score really well, and he's not afraid to score low either.
I'm going to come back to that phrase. That's interesting. Afraid to score low. And there we are at the first tee with the last group. Perry and Tiger Woods. Tiger 67, 66, 67 this week. 54 holes, 200 strokes. Trying to continue the trend of Saturday leader to Sunday winner in this event.
There you see the first hole from the blimp. Dogleg left.
Good luck, gentlemen. Play well today. First on the tee for the 12:45 starting time from Windermere, Florida, Mr. Tiger Woods.
We'll be setting off on a history-making day, looking for a 7th win on tour. It's been a quarter century since someone has won that many PGA Tour events in a year.
Than some of the other players.
Now on the tee from Columbus, Ohio, Mr. Chris Perry.
I was talking to Chris this morning in the fitness trailer, and he said he's really looking forward to playing with Tiger, that he's just going to do his thing, play his game, but he won't realize till he gets out there that's tough to do because the man can be intimidating sometimes with his length, his variety of shots. But Chris has been playing so well. You get in your own little world, forget about everything else. Maybe he can do it. He certainly do. He's been playing so well for the last year and a half, as you heard him talk earlier.
Between these two players, 50 events, only 1 cut missed this season. Fitting that they, 1 and 2 on that list, most cuts made, play in the final group here at the Tour Championship. Ahead at the first green, Steve Payne will try to get to 9 under par.
Even though it's the back of the green, he's still coming back uphill a little bit, back into the green. Difference in uphill into the green is very slow. Downhill, down green, it's extremely fast here this week. Judging the speed is the most important part.
Get there, get there, get there. Oh.
And when the ball loses speed around the hole, that's when the grain does take over.
So Pater will stay 5 back. Move you all the way forward to number 8.
Stuart Appleby, whose ball you saw just sort of fritter down the hill into the water. Ball landed about 13 feet from the hole. Now playing his 3rd at par 3. No comment. Now about to play his 5th. So the previous par 3 double bogey, and he's going to try to get it up and down for triple now.
You know, when you go around this golf course, Steve, and you look at all the slopes down into the water, they're all shaved. Now, around the rest of the golf course is not like that. So I just question why they do it when there's water right there. Yes, they want us to play smart. They want us to play, you know, as tough as we can, but fairness does come into the picture as well.
Frank Hannigan, you're certainly the guru of rules. To explain the drop here.
Well, it's not the drop we're talking about. It's the setup philosophy, which I approve of wholeheartedly. I think it's from my USGA days. I think it's a good idea to get into people's heads about these things. Moreover, one of the things that tour players don't understand is that they're playing each other, not the golf course or the golf course superintendent. That is to say, there's not going to be a lowering of prize money because this guy's hit it in the water twice.
Philosophically, I don't disagree with you, but I will take exception. I always thought the USGA grew a lot of grass.
Shave the banks, not the rough.
2-1.
Steve Nonick, 1 up on Frank Hannigan right now.
Tiger's 2nd shot, 1st hole.
Beautiful lie in the fairway, 213 yards, a 6-iron.
Beautiful swing.
Steve Williams does have the option of taking a tape recorder out there and just rewinding it and keep hitting that play button so you can say beautiful swing, because there have been so many of Tiger, especially when in the lead heading into Sunday.
And the one time he has not won, and we've mentioned his name many times now, is Ed Fiore. Beat him at Quad Cities 2 years ago, and Ed is still the lone giant killer. Ed, we know you're watching at home and you're becoming famous.
The more Tiger contends, the more we talk about the grips.
Right.
Perry's 2nd.
It will be the same club in for Chris Perry from 197 yards. 6-iron.
Sets up to hit a fade on just about every single shot. Will set up left, move into the ball very strongly with his upper body. Good shot.
Ahead to 8 again.
Stuart Appleby now for a 7 at the par 3. And the last 10 holes are going to be tough. One footnote about Ed Fiore, we talked about him and sort of ruining Tiger's 3rd round leads. He's once described by a guy as having a grip that looked like 2 crabs trying to mate. We're back yet again at 8. Tim Heron on the tee.
Good ball, 7.
Gary Smith told us that he struggled yesterday with his swing. That's a 7-iron. That's safe. Mr. Appleby would love to have had it there. Tim played beautifully at the U.S. Open this year, tied for 6th and back at 5.
David Duval's second shot on the par 5. Flags 35 paces up the green. Good shot from David. Long putt for a 3, which would be an eagle. Back to 1.
And Chris Perry.
The back right corner of this green tends to fall away, so both Chris's putt and Tiger's goes slightly back up into the hill.
Big start. Not only does it get him going, it shows Tiger that he's not going to fall down, just lay over and play dead. Okay, the man is really playing well, so consistently.
Second hole.
Steve Payne, second shot.
Steve's trying to figure out exactly what this wind is doing.
Going right out.
He's only got 168 yards. He's not in the best position. The left side of this fairway kind of gives you not as good an angle into this hole location, but he's hitting a 7-iron. Should be able to stop this ball quite easily. Steve. He never looked comfortable over that guy as he left this ball off to the right.
Well, on the green, some 30 feet or so from the hole. Up to the 4th.
Davis Love on the tee at this dangerous par 3.
5-iron and the wind swirling around, Steve. Difficult to choose a club today.
Get him.
Very lucky. Very lucky. Davis doesn't appear as though he can go full bore, actually not hitting the clubs as long as normal. I know he's not 100%. Back at 1.
The Tiger made birdie on Thursday, par on Friday and Saturday. This to answer Perry's birdie. Fifth hole.
Duval now with this huge putt. This is his 3rd shot on the par 5.
Uphill in the green to about that point right there. It pressed out, now downhill, down green. Watch it run out.
Still going.
All of the edges on most of these big greens fall off. And when you play it into the middle of the green, it makes putting very difficult to 2-putt.
Well, they are very big greens indeed. And I think we're in for an eventful day here at Champion Golf Club with Tiger. Just 2 ahead now. Chris Perry looking cool, and the others are quite some way away, but you never know. Chris Perry has the honor at the 2nd. He birdied the 1st. To the 5th quickly to see David Duval if he can pop this in for a birdie to go to 7 under. He can. He struck that in beautifully. 2 under today. 7 under, 6 behind. 6 behind Tiger, and here he is with his tee shot at the 2nd. almost all carry. Just ran no more than a couple of yards. To the third.
And Hal Sutton with a long birdie putt. We've seen this one already before as watch it come up the hill and over the slope in the center of our screen, and then really drops off and away to our right, player left. It's a pretty good putt from way down there for Hal. Still has a chance today. He's got the thought in the back of his mind that being the defending champion, he can play well in this event and play well against these top players. But he's got some work to do. Head to 8.
Justin Leonard.
Great shot.
Big improvement. Made double bogey here yesterday, where his tee shot caromed off a spectator into the pond with the flagstick on the front right portion as the players face the hole. Leonard at 5 under, 1 under through 7. Now at the 4th, Davis Love is bid for birdie. There's some speculation that Davis may not go to Spain. He claims that unless he wins or is 100%, he may not go. To 2.
As a view looking down, you can see the fine gaggle of spectators all the way around this hole. The final pair. Chris Perry and Tiger.
Hey, Judy, you know they're going to build a new Walmart out here?
I know this joke. Lee Jansen told me this joke. That's a 7-iron from 155. The breeze is difficult to gauge, but appears to be backing the player's face here at the second. I'm going to let you go with the punchline, Curtis.
Well, they're going to build a new Walmart between Chris Perry's tee shot and Tiger Woods' tee shot. That's the joke on tour when somebody knocks it way by you. They come by, hey, we'll build a new Walmart here. Where is that? Between your ball and mine.
Lee gets credit for that? Jansen?
I think it's going back a little bit farther than Lee Jansen.
Okay.
That's where I first heard it.
I think it's very unkind. Tiger's second shot.
That a 9-iron from 140, and he lost it well to the right, but it will find the putting surface.
That's okay, Judy. Judy, I prefer your artichokes to you for $1.
Thank you, Peter.
Now that is a joke. You can tell your children that. And Tiger Woods, well, he's not getting away to a sensational start, but a long way to go yet.
We're back at the 6th, another long par 4, 430 yards. David Duval is right now tied for 4th. Second shot after missing this fairway. Birdie's on 2 and 5, moving David up the leaderboard. Finished with another long putt ahead. Back to the second.
And Tiger Woods' third shot, long putt. 2 putts, he'll be okay from here. Guyberger made a birdie here. Tiger's not a million miles away. That's a beautifully judged long putt. He hits the ball so far, and yet he has this wonderful soft touch around the green. Able to judge the pace of the run of the ball. He really is the most gifted player. So 2 pars for Tiger. Par here 71, of course 7,200 odd yards long, and this is the 4th.
The defender, Hal Sutton, going with a 3-iron. It's not a big one. I think the shot that he hit in the playoff at this event last year was the best shot played on tour last year. That was a in-between club. And a shot to match. Back at 2.
Chris Perry now, second hole. Opened up with a birdie at the first, just about the edge, just off the green. He holed it.
Always wondered why players had their caddies attend the pin when they were only, there you see, 20 feet, 18 feet from the hole.
Some people, they feel they can line it up better. I don't know why, whether they take the line from the hole going up towards the flag, or that gives them, they must do it for a purpose. And other people to have the flag out when they're 50 or 60 feet away, and you wonder whether they've got X-ray eyes to see the hole. And now he's going to just tap this one in for his par. So birdie par for Perry. 2 behind Woods. 16 holes left to play. If there's a playoff, they'll go the 18th and the 10th, the 10th and 18th. Those are the playoff holes. Up to the 6th.
David Duval.
Settle. It all starts from the tee. If you drive it in the rough, you can't control the second shot. You have 40 or 50 footers, and they are tough putts on these big greens. It all starts off the tee. Most important part, second most important part of the game is driving it in the fairway. Obviously, the first is putting the ball.
5.
Davis Love at the 5th.
After a good drive, Peter going with a 3-wood, and he's pushed it a wee bit.
Just in and through the gallery. Looks to be on a bearish patch, but there could be a little clump of grass behind the ball. Back to the 3rd.
And that's the ball of Brent Geiberger back in the left side of the fairway. There's been a bit of a wait here because Steve Pate hit the trees on the right from the tee. And now Brent plays his second.
Go.
Just in the front left-hand bunker, you can see there.
Let's take a look at the 3rd hole. Really good hole out here. You have to drive it left of center. Because it's a dog leg to the right, it's only about 230 to the dog leg, but these trees on the right overhang the fairway. Anything in the right half of the fairway is blocked out. Then you're only left with a 7, 8, or possibly a 9-iron to another huge green. Bunkers really aren't into play. The front left maybe, Dave's flag stick all the way back left. Way away from the bunkers. Good hole.
And back at the tee, as Curtis said, this is a good hole. It's a shortish hole of 430 yards. Second shot playing downhill. Should suit this player very well because he takes the ball left to right.
And he has teed the ball on the far right side of the tee box to try to give himself a little bit the best of the angle. Very difficult here at the 3rd hole to feel if there is any kind of crosswind. The entire hole is fairly protected from crosswinds. Judging from the first 2 holes, though, what breeze there is that might affect this ball is coming from the left.
Going with the driver, Judy.
That he is.
Just watch this swing as he kind of holds it off, gets down to his left side.
Hang on. Go hard.
Flirting with the right side.
That's exactly what Steve Pate did, hitting it down there into the trees on the right, and it's right into the base of the tree. We'll have to see if we get a little Sergio Garcia action on this one. Ahead to 6.
Duval trying to hold his comeback putt. Save par. First blemish, 6 under, 3rd tee.
Tiger now with a 3-wood.
Well, this one started center and really went left.
Really cut that swing off too, Ian.
Yeah, trying to hit that like that little punch shot that he likes to play.
It's amazing trying to do something like that with a 3-wood. I don't quite understand that other than maybe just trying to knock it down and not full swing, full throttle type shot.
I would have thought maybe with the driver and the high fade off that tee for Tiger might have suited his length a little better. 2-8.
Jeff Maggart, 4 under par, going with a 6 there. This hole has given players fits, the early ones that have come through here.
Push it.
This is like instant replay. Well, it has been a birdie by Chris Perry that has closed the gap a little bit. Tiger Woods in trouble on 3, but so is Chris Perry. They'll be struggling to make par.
Welcome back. We're here with Tiger at the left-hand side of the 3rd fairway. And there's no rocks behind his ball, but plenty of leaves and loose impediments, and he's just seeing if he can clear the way between his club and the ball here.
It's like playing pickup sticks there, Ian.
Yeah, you have to be very careful, don't you? We all take an immense amount of care in that situation.
Oh, get in there.
Davis at the 5th. Tapping in, and nobody apart from Vijay Singh is making a great attack on this final morning. And Tiger's in a spot of bother, but he's coming in from a reasonable angle. Back to the 3rd, and Tiger.
Okay, Judy, what's he got down there?
He has 186 yards all the way back to the hole at the back left, but less than 150 to the front. I think his play is to put the ball on the front right of the green. He has to keep it low, but that should not be that difficult for him. If he chooses to try to get close, he's going to have to hit a big swinging low hook. I don't think that's the play. I think he would run the risk of the bunker or all the way over the green or left.
Not this one right here.
Well, I think the shot is to make sure that you miss the tree in front. That's obvious. Always try and get it as far advanced as possible. If he can get the club on the ball, he may be able to fly it all the way on the green because the hole is located 40 yards back. So he can probably fly it on and still stop it before it goes over.
Well, he has taken a fairly lofted club. The tree trunk is less of a problem than the overhanging branches.
Started out at that building that you can see there in the right-hand top corner, as Curtis is doing there for me. That's the type of shot he's trying to play. Probably an 8-iron off the back foot.
It's a fairly bare area. The grass will not impede the finish line. This is a spectacular shot.
Great play. Middle of the green. Wise play. And as Judy said, sensational shot. Well, he has a 2-shot advantage over Chris Perry at the moment at 13 under. And we see Chris Perry taking a drop. He was unplayable behind the tree. It's Vaughn Moise, tour official there in shot. And Chris will just do a little bit of repositioning of the crowd there on the right, and he'll hit a little low fade around the corner. See if he can make his par. Obviously, he's got a 2 club length drop. It's a penalty of 1 shot for taking an unplayable lie. Always remember that if you're taking a penalty drop, you've got a couple of club lengths relief. If you don't take a penalty drop or a free drop, it's just 1 club length. So he's got the 2 club lengths there left of the tree.
Well, and because he was able to use that option, he has a pretty open look at the hole location and the green.
No, 5 behind it.
166 back to the hole.
Chris's caddy, Carl Hart, helping out with the numbers.
Judy, the branch that we see on the angle that we're looking at, is that a factor?
You know, since he has taken the drop, I am not behind him any longer, Curtis. I did not think it would be, but I am on up the fairway, so.
It's tough to hit a fade if you have it in some grass. I don't know if he can get a solid contact on the back of the ball, but it's tough to hit a big slice when you're in the rough.
It's also tough to keep it down, Curtis, isn't it? You can always jump up high when you're trying to fade it out of rough.
Well, he hit this ball up in the air and right towards the flagstick.
Wonderful play to just roll off into the first cut of rough there. An easy little chip. You should be able to get that up and down for a bogey 5. After a birdie at the first, that'd take him back to even for the day if he can do that. And there you see Tiger leads by 2, but more than likely it'll be by 3 after this hole. Brent Guyberger, he bogeyed the 3rd, went back to 8 under. Davis Love at 7. Vijay Singh 5 under through 11. Saw him chip in from the back of 7 for a nice little birdie. Then he's birdied 10 and 11. He's the man of the day.
Well, of course, this part of the big sports day here on ESPN. You've already watched Sunday NFL Countdown and Sports Center. The golf today, tonight. After NFL primetime, Warren Sapp and the Bucks take on the Central leading Detroit Lions. And a great Monday Night Football game. Mike Holmgren returns to Lambeau. He brings Seattle in to take on Green Bay. Start your night with Monday Night Countdown on ESPN at 7 Eastern with our buddy Mark Malone. And then over to ABC for Favre and the Packers against Holmgren and the Seahawks. To the 4th.
Brent Guyberger, tee shot here with 5 iron.
Steve, the one that's here is helping the players. If they make any mistake, they need to make it either to the right or long.
Well, we have seen a lot of different club selections here, Steve. 6 irons to 3 irons.
That's pretty good play. You're at a slight disadvantage having to be first off the tee. Guyberger went wide right and brought it in. Right now it's Woods and Perry threatening to kind of have it all to themselves here in the final round of the Tour Championship presented by the Southern Cup.
Chris Perry playing his 4th shot. We recorded this just a few moments ago. Little chip and run. Back up the slope.
Ian looked like he hit it with like a 5 iron. Chip and run, beautiful little shot.
He'll tap that in for a bogey 5 at the 3rd hole. Takes him back to even par for his round. 7 top 4 finishes for Chris Perry so far this season. Without a win, though. He'd love to finish off the season with a win here. And there's Tiger right in the center of the green with about 45 feet for his birdie 3, and he would be delighted to go to the next tee with a par 4. Roll it down there. Goes pretty quick at the end and a little bit to the left. And wonderful touch, just like at the second with that long birdie try or birdie chance. Tucked it in for his par 4. Ahead 1-4.
This is Brent Guyberger for birdie. Just had a wonderful run at it and mishit it. Up ahead at 5.
Hal Sutton, 3rd shot on the par 5. That's his 4th. That was for a birdie, and he settles for a par. 35 yards up the green this hole, and 6 in from the right-hand side. And the features here, the huge greens, lots of undulations and grain. 6th green now, and Davis Love.
For a rare birdie here, we've only seen 2 today. Justin Leonard and Jeff Maggart. Just 11 on the week. It's 11 out of about 100+ attempts. Second toughest hole to birdie on the golf course this week. Love stays at 7 under. And back to Guyberger
for a par. So it's been a good year for Brent, and this would be a nice way to finish off his year. 8 under in 3rd place. Tiger's lead back to 3 as he began the day. He said before Disney last week that he thought he was playing well enough to win the last 3 events. Well, he's certainly looking like he can do so. "29 players in this field. Payne Stewart's place was left vacant. This has been a difficult day for scoring with the exception of Mr. Singh. And now down at the 4th tee, Tiger Woods next to play.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that one. He's holding right against it. It's sort of gone from there to there. Okay. Yeah. Pick your target out, swing right at your target. Yeah.
Steve, one of the interesting things I think is when you see someone in Tiger's position, the great thing, he mustn't sort of beat himself now. It's not a question of attack. It's attack and defend. The one thing he mustn't do here is go left and take 5.
And he's pretty good about that, Peter. You know, you don't carry the lead as he has into the final round and beat yourself.
Shot.
That's out to the right.
Big high 5-iron from 203 yards.
Well said, Peter. Good call, Judy.
Well, that's what learning how to play is all about. You know, you can be a good hitter, but you can't play very well.
Well, last week in the final round, he didn't play very well, but he played well enough to win. Chris Perry going next, Judy. I think he's got 6.
He has taken a 6-iron. I think that's a little surprising. I tell you, you cannot feel any wind here at the tee at all. The flag 94. Is moving just a little.
What's the minimum? Same. Playing 86. Like this? Mm-hmm.
Judy, I agree with you. I think you've got to pick your spots to make birdie. I'm not sure this is one of them.
Well, that 86 would be a measurement to the front edge of the green. A lot of tee boxes here at the par 3. They are 1 tee box forward from yesterday. And that's not an effort to make a hole easier, but simply variety and a chance to move the hole locations around.
Look it.
Started it left of the flagstick and hit a sizable cut.
But on terra firma, which is not all bad.
Had to go to the right with a 6-iron, Steve.
I agree. Now up at 8, and this hole has confounded these players today. Duval going with a 6-iron. That's left. That was stunning. That is above water. So Duval making an early charge. He's 1 under for his round. Very few people have made moves today. Well, we're back. It's the final round of the Tour Championship here in Houston. That's the 4th green at the upper part of your screen. And Tiger Woods and Chris Perry are there. Judy?
Well, the hole actually sits up on a pretty high shelf at that far left side of the green. An observation about Chris Perry. As he warmed up today, which was almost a full hour, I think he might have spent 40 minutes of that hour on the putting green and chipping. Very little of his warm-up time was spent hitting balls.
Well, yesterday he only hit 11 greens in regulation, and given the size of his greens, that's not very good. So maybe he knows something we don't know. He did shoot 69, so he held it together pretty well in only hitting 11 greens. But putting has always been one of his strengths.
Up this little shelf, and the green tilts from the back to the front.
Well, you just like to walk away here with par and try not to do any damage. Now, we saw Duval's ball stop precariously close to the hazard. Pitch to here and has this for par. Mitch Knox standing right in the hole. Attaboy, Mitch. So the man, his college teammates call the Penguin. That was about 35 pounds more than he is now. We go back to 5.
Geiberger's second shot.
This is from 257 yards, Peter, and it's playing a lot different than yesterday. Yesterday, they're knocking on the screen in 2. That is right back into the wind. He's actually got to draw this ball.
Okay,
back to the fairway.
Nice. So he's got quite a good distance to go for his third shot on this shortish par 5. To the 4th.
Tiger for his birdie.
Steve, that putt pretty much straight down grain, but the putt earlier, I always had a tough time with the speed when it was cross grain. Do you feel the same way?
Well, I think if you're not comfortable, you know, you grew up in Bermuda, as did I, so that was not a problem. But for Geiberger, who grew up in California, Bermuda is a foreign surface to him. You and I grew up, Curtis, we had to lift our feet walking into the grain. It was so bad back then.
You could cut your fingers.
To 7.
Davis Love, after 6 pars, this is his second shot.
With a 7-iron, just change clubs.
And another right in the center of the green where he is playing from there. Hole here way back, 56 paces back on the 7th, back to 4.
And Chris Perry. As good a stroke as he has, he really shouldn't present a problem unless there's some uncertainty with the green. It's been a wonderful year for Chris. Only missed 1 cut this entire year. 25 consecutive cuts as we go to 5.
Third shot for Geiberger.
65 yards. Good look at it. Little sand wedge here.
Short. Very quickly.
Hit it, Brett, hit it.
Geiberger, though, is in 3rd spot at the moment at 8 under par. Trying to keep the Tiger in his sights. Tiger Woods on the 5th.
Wasted no time in getting to the tee and putting the club head behind the ball. Breeze back in his face. Missed the fairway left yesterday. This one's right.
Ooh. Well, I guess if you're going to miss a fairway, you might as well do it on a par 5 with his power. He'd probably reach in 3. Up to 7.
And Davis and his brother having a look at the line here. Davis has his brother Mark caddy for him.
Should be a little bit from the right in and pretty quick. Once again, downhill and down grain.
And very quick if it gets past the hole. Yeah! Well done. That's his first birdie today. It'll take Davis to 8 under. And although that's 5 back, there's a lot of golf still to be played out here. It's a difficult golf course. If you can get on a roll and get your confidence working for you, you can hold the putts on these types of greens. They're rolling beautifully. Back to 5.
Geiberger now has this putt for a birdie 4. Too wide, too wide. So only par for Geiberger, who remains a level par for the day. 8 under overall.
Peter, let's take a look at the 5th hole. It's a reachable par 5 most of the week, but not today. The wind has turned back into their face. Slight dogleg to the left. Obviously, Tiger can get on it too, but not today with driving it out to the right on the right trees. After a good tee shot, most of the players today will lay up just some 70 or 80 yards short of the green, and if they go for it, it's a long, narrow green. Today's hole location all the way back right. And here's a live shot of where the flagstick is. It's a ridge running through the green right here, and everything downhill to the flagstick. Good par 5.
drift back, and Tiger hit one to the right, and Chris Perry also moved to the right. There he is.
The ball just outside of the intermediate or the first cut of rough. Not out of that by more than an inch, but makes a tremendous difference. This is not the worst lie I've seen all week by far, but there is a fair amount of grass up behind the ball, and I would be very surprised.
164 is 110.
If he would try anything other than what he's going to try, which is take an iron and leave himself a third shot that pleases his eye.
And you heard the caddy say it's 164 yards to the 110 sprinkler head. And that's the information that he wants. And he can go from there on how far he wants to leave it from the hole.
That's good position.
Just played that with an 8-iron, and it is well back. That is going to leave him a fair third shot. I would have thought he could have hit it 20, 30 yards farther.
Have you seen Tiger's lie, Judy?
I have, and he has caught a wonderful lie. There isn't anything up behind the ball. It's on a little bit of a mound at the right side of the fairway. Absolutely clean lie. The grass non-existent in this one spot. It is a slight uphill lie, and he can certainly turn this ball from left to right and put it on the center of the green. 261 to the hole.
Peter, did you ever swing at a ball that hard?
Not without hurting myself. It's amazing, isn't it, when you're on a run of form and you drive one in the trees, and you might have finished in a hole or behind a tree or something, but the good fortune seems to flow with the good players.
Well, we'll see the players all the way around today, and they'll be making the turn in the conclusion of our coverage on ABC Sports, live across the country in about 15 minutes exactly at 3 Eastern and noon Pacific. Tour Championship presented by Southern Company. 8th hole.
Davis coming off the birdie at 7. That's a 6-iron.
The wind swirling up around the green a little bit. Needs to hit it solidly.
This one goes 6. If he's smart, he'll go right of the flagstick, and that's what he's done. Davis 5 back, and given the conditions and given some of the swings we've seen from Tiger, 5 shots is not an insurmountable gap. Vijay Singh out early, the only player that's really in the midst of what you could call a good round today. Next best score thus far, 2 under. Carlos Franco and a host of others. Mike Weir out early by himself has completed his 4th round. Shot 68. Back at 7.
Hal Sutton. Second shot for Hal.
Flagstick 57 yards back into this green.
Intimidating hole location, Curtis, and that's a pretty good shot right there where Davis Love hit it.
Normal greens are about 30 deep. This 64 to 5.
Chris Perry 3rd.
Well, I take it back. The ball got farther up the fairway than I thought, and it is exactly 110 back to the hole.
Great.
Oh, it must have looked very good from his side. As you can see, probably 12, 14 steps from the hole. And work to do to make sure of getting down in no worse than 2 from there. Meanwhile, Tiger's up quite close to the green. Now, do we have a rule? Is it in some wires or whatever? It's in the gallery there. Gallery ropes and things, Judy?
Well, the gallery ropes are dropped, so that's an area where gallery has been standing this week. Grass is beat down just a little. The lie looks pretty decent, and he is far enough, deep enough toward the back of the green where the bunker is not in play at all. This should not be a very difficult shot.
Judy, can he carry it on the edge of the green? It looks like the play might be just to land it about right there.
I would think right near the edge would be perfect. It runs away from him just slightly from that angle.
You can usually tell by the stance he adopts whether he's going to lay the club face back and give it one of his whammaroos. No, it looks to be straightforward in the picture. I don't think this is going to be one of his mighty up and unders. Nicely done, short putt for a birdie. And there you saw a demonstration of Wood's power. He was almost level with the flag with his second shot, whereas other players, the nearest they got to the front of the green was probably about 20-30 yards. It's not too bad. Career as a pro, and he's only 24 in December. Look at that, Mr. Cat. I don't know what happened. He must have played with a broken arm. Remarkable talent.
You never missed any cuts, did you?
Yeah, I did a few. Quite a remarkable talent. When he came on tour after a sparkling amateur career, a lot of people wondered whether it would continue, whether he was really the wonder boy, the wunderkinder, the wunderkinder. My word, isn't he just a huge talent. And a cool head, which is, it doesn't go all that often with a lot of talent. You get people that dissipate their talents on occasion. Love now at the 8th.
For Birdie, 2 years ago in the Tour Championship, Davis had a share of the 54-hole lead, and coming on the heels of his PGA Championship, had a chance to be leading money winner and player of the year with a good showing, but that was not the case. Back at 5.
Now Perry hold a good putt at the first, and just sort of off the back of the green, and now he's got this putt. He's putting first. If he could get it, asking a lot. He's a long way away, and there's a fair bit of grain and slope between him and the hole. But you never know. Tiger's got about an 8-footer no more for his birdie. Pretty good looking putt. Just a little shy of pace. That'll be a par. Up to the 6th.
Second for Guyberger, this par 4.
157-yard second shot. This is an 8-iron. This hole is located well left on the screen. Friend's trying to draw that ball, and it's hanging a little bit to the right of the hole.
If there's one thing he might need to work on is he does get the club quite laid off at the top of the swing, and that'll get it too far on the inside coming down. Tough to draw the ball.
Tied for third with Love. Back to the leader at 5.
And this for a birdie.
His third round of 67 included 4 misses from just about this length.
This is one of the toughest putts. Uphill, left to right, into a left to right grain. It's tough to get it started, and you just have to hit it so solidly.
Like that, Curtis?
Just like that.
Just like that.
But you know, you have to watch. He had plenty of speed on it, gave it plenty of break. It was a perfect putt.
Beautiful putt. But you see, he missed from the tee, and he smashed it with his second shot, hit the crowd again. Found a reasonable, pretty good pitch. Birdie. Chris Perry taps in, and he's losing his left leg. His trousers are falling. Have to stop and do a little repair job here. Probably hasn't noticed it yet.
Yeah.
To the 9th. Davis Love on the tee. Ooh, that looks a bit quick at that one, and he's pulled it way left, has it? No, he hasn't.
Should be okay, Peter. Hit that one very hard, though.
He looked completely disgusted, Gary, with that, as the moment the club had hit the ball. Did it sky up in the air or what?
He hit it very high, but I think he was trying to hit more of a slider around the corner of the dog leg, and it stayed straight.
Well, that's the position. Tiger Woods now leads by 4 from Chris Perry, 6 from Davis Love and Brent Geiberger.
At the 6th, Brent Geiberger trying to take sole possession of 3rd for the moment with this birdie putt. Again, we've seen very few birdies at 6, but he drove it in the spot where he could have a good angle at the green, at the flagstick, excuse me. Brent will stay even for the day and 8 under for the championship.
You never know with Bermuda grass greens. On bent grass, it rolls much truer, and when you hit a good putt, you almost know it's going to go in. Bermuda grass, you never know until the ball actually disappears. It's part of the frustrating part of it. A lot of good putts don't go in.
Overcast day here in Houston, Texas, but doesn't look like it will be a very wet day, so we'll be okay with our play. We thank the MetLife Blimp Snoopy 1 for the aerial coverage. The blimp containing 68,000 cubic feet of helium, 130 feet length from nose to tail, and a gross weight of 4,400 pounds.
Well, I'm glad I know that, Mike. 4,400 pounds.
Yes. No protein diet needed for Snoopy.
I'll take that to Spain with me.
Doing just fine, thank you. I can bring over other blimp details for you if you'd like to share those. You see the NFL scores at the bottom of your screen. Remember Chris Berman and Tom Jackson of NFL Primetime at 7:30 here on ESPN. Right before the Bucks and the Lions, we are preparing to shift over to the great ABC affiliate in your home and conclude our coverage of the Tour Championship presented by Southern Company. Great opportunity here for these 2 hours to see the start of the round, our full 18-hole coverage of this event. $900,000 to the winner.
And what we've seen, a little different wind, a little tougher golf course. Scores aren't as low as they've been the first 3 days. Could be an interesting finish. Obviously, these guys behind need a little help from Tiger Woods, but they also need to make some birdies.
1999, the year in golf. It started behind the shades, 4 months, 4 wins, world #1. A first touch of emotion in a second major won by a man who many thought was done. A tour rookie from Paraguay who won twice in the States and became a hero at home. The most memorable 72nd hole ever in a major, one burned in our memories forever. The emergence of an ebullient, energetic Spanish teen. In the summer, we saw golf's future. And it's ever present, reclaiming a top ranking, doing things we haven't seen in a quarter century. We were set to see him star in 2 weeks and 2 continents for the season's final bow. And the way of honoring for the players today, many in knickers. The Payne Stewart trademark clothing, joining the ribbons as players honor their late friend, and Stuart Appleby wearing Payne Stewart's actual clothes from that closet that was a clothing masterpiece that Payne loved so much in his Orlando home. And the shot from behind of Stuart Appleby, an eerie one at that. And so under overcast skies in Houston, the Tour Championship presented by Southern Company reaches its climax. The most normal day of golf this week with 18 holes to complete 72, but still incomplete are the thoughts and the feelings of everyone, not just here in Houston, Texas, but all over the golfing globe. This golf course that has hosted a Ryder Cup and a U.S. Open for the second time is hosting the top money winners from the PGA Tour season in the stateside season finale. If you were not with us on our cable partner ESPN for our 2 hours of 18-hole coverage today, Tiger Woods, who started the day leading by 3, has extended the lead to 4 over Chris Perry. No one really able to mount a great charge. Jim Furyk's 4 under par. behind only Vijay Singh's 5-under that went by you on the board a moment ago as the best rounds of this overcast day where the wind is turned and the golf course with big greens and dangerous slopes off the edge of those large putting surfaces has seen some unfair, some difficult things for the players. Tiger looking for win 7 of the year. Mike Tirico, Curtis Strange, our ABC Sports Golf team here in Houston. The action described by Ian Baker Finch, Steve Melnick, and Peter Allis. Frank Hannigan is here for any rules questions we need to sort out on the golf course. Noted instructor Gary Smith, along with Judy Rankin and Mark McCumber, the champion in this event 5 years ago. Here you see their faces. You'll be hearing their voices over the next 3 hours of coverage. We'll see if Tiger can clinch the money title and win for a 7th time on tour this season. Nobody's won that many in one season in a quarter century. Ian Baker Finch has the call at number 7.
Thanks, Mike. Looking at the tee now, and Tiger Woods getting ready to play.
He'll play from the tee here at 7 with a 3-wood. Hold dog legs to the right out in the driving area. Wind's very calm at the moment.
Going with a 3-wood.
Swing. Which he does a lot of on this golf course, Ian, because the dog legs, a driver would go through the dog leg, and he just wants to put it right at the bend.
Exactly right. Just putting it in play, not trying to bite off more than he can chew. And with a 4-shot advantage, that's really all he needs to do at this stage. Just keep it in play. Ahead to 9.
Davis Love, this par 5 for a birdie, and no, just moved his head a little bit quick and pulled it away to the left. Back to the 7th.
And Chris Perry with the driver. Really sets up well for Chris this hole. Another dog leg to the right, and he's hugged the corner and hit it about 20 or 30 yards past Tiger. It's an unusual situation for Chris, actually going to get to hit second into this hole. Word from the course, Davis Love parred the 9th hole, tapped that one in. There's a view of the 8th green, the par 3. We'll be back to see some more birdies in just a short moment.
This is the tee at number 10. Par 4, 466 yards. Davis Love tied with John Houston and Brent Geiberger in 3rd.
230 yards of the bunker on the right that you see. Obviously, he will have to go to the left of that.
Davis 1 under for his opening 9. In the same group with Tom Lehman, who was 1 over for his first 9. Back to the 7th.
And this is the view from behind Tiger Woods.
This bunker is.
Right,
if you hit pin high, it won't go in the bunker.
No. Bunker starts like 3 yards.
Past hole.
Past the hole, yeah.
Got it.
And it really helps to have a decisive caddy. And Steve Williams, you look up decisive in the dictionary and there's a photo of him in there. You can see the flag back in that back left, 56 paces on.
The measurement is 186 yards. Tiger has a 7-iron.
Good swing.
Go in the hole. Go in.
A little Ray Floyd there, calling for it to go in. Great shot.
Ian, a great day of action yesterday. College football continues. The outstanding competitive Big Ten, Wisconsin and Purdue. Texas A&M takes on Nebraska, who had a scare with Kansas. Joe Hamilton and Georgia Tech takes on Virginia. And Washington, Arizona. Great win for Rick Neuheisel's team yesterday. That's the ABC action next Saturday. For more, log on to ESPN.com, a part of the Go Network. See you next Saturday for ABC Sports, regional coverage of college football. On our way to the Bowl Championship Series. Let's go back to Ian.
And Chris Perry lining up his second shot. Walks in from behind, gets set first. Then it starts.
Really sticks with his pre-shot routine every shot that he plays. An 8-iron for Chris Perry from 168.
You don't want to be long right in that back bunker, and you don't want to pull it left either. pretty standard result so far today. We've seen a lot of players coming into the center of the green, coming up 40 or 50 feet short of the hole. We'll leave Tiger and Chris there at the 7th green, and we'll throw it up to my friends up in the booth, Curtis and Mike.
Okay, Ian, thank you. And friendship has been one of the main words out here this week, and the friendship of the PGA Tour players. And it's so nice to see the honor being shown by the players for Payne Stewart, many of them wearing knickers. And we should point out why all of them aren't wearing knickers. Is a very difficult thing to get organized at the last minute.
Yeah. First of all, Tom Lehman did it. Yes. He's to be congratulated for all of his efforts. You know, we have a lot of different waistlines, a lot of different leg sizes and leg lengths, so a lot of the knickers did not fit. That's why a lot of them don't have it on. They all wanted to do it, but they think of Payne in their own way, through the ribbons or the pins. Everybody grieves in their own way. Most of them went to the service a couple of days ago in Orlando. All of them here went to the service Thursday morning. It's been wonderful to see. You know, we're one big family. We really are, and it's a tragic thing to have us come together with something like this, but that we did, I think it's wonderful to see.
Yeah, I think everyone understands that a little bit more now. On the golf course, we mentioned the 18 holes and going back to normal, and what has been the normal story of the last 6 months, Tiger winning again in position to win for the 11th straight time while leading going into the final day, and to win for the 7th time this year, which in this era of deep fields and talented players is really remarkable.
Well, first of all, maybe possibly the 7th win in the second half of the year. David Duval dominating the first half. But it's phenomenal. Swing-wise, he's very, very good. He admits to himself, I have it now. He feels very comfortable. But I think the big, big difference is between his ears. He is so confident. He believes in himself. He knows that if I just play decent golf and hang in there, I'll be there Sunday afternoon.
So Tiger leads by 4. It's one of those things that we've seen over and over the last few months. Even when things go wrong, they work out well. Par 5, 5th. Tiger, whose driving has been exceptional in this stretch. He's been erring on a few more this week than he was last week in Orlando. He missed it to the right, but look where it ended up.
Well, he caught a perfect lie to where he could possibly get it to the green in 2. Flew that one out to the right a little bit, carried the bunker on the right. Still playing so aggressively. Now caught a pretty decent lie again. And this is where he's so very good for a long hitter. Pitched it to about 8 feet. Tough putt. Had a little bit uphill, grain left to right into him. You couldn't make it unless it was a perfectly solid putt. And watch this, just right in the middle. He has it all.
And on a day, Curtis, when nobody's running away, and it's very tough to put up great scores on this day, this golf course, in these conditions. Here's Tiger, 6 holes, he's made 5 pars and a birdie.
Well, he's learned how to win. He doesn't have to go out there and play so aggressively today. He knows it's a tough golf course. He had a 3-shot lead. You play to win at this point, and that's the most important thing.
Tiger leading by 4, and we'll take you back to the last group at the 7th.
And Chris Perry's just taking a look at this putt from, as I said before, 40 to 50 feet. Not an easy one for Birdie, one of those ones you want to cozy up there nice and close for a par. Birdie the first hole today, jumped out of the box as well. Bogeyed the 3rd. 3 pars the last 3 holes.
A little valley runs across the center of the green, and Chris's putt will start just coming out of that valley, so the early part of the putt is uphill.
That camera angle is a good one. You see Tiger there taking a really good look at what Chris has in front of him, trying to learn a little. See, he wanted to walk in behind Chris as he putted to have a look at what happened the last few feet because his ball is on the same line. We go ahead to 9.
Jeffrey Waldorf's hit 2 cracking shots under this line now. This for an equal. And he's got it. Waldorf had a great round. Yes, the second round was a little bit messy, but Duffy going well. It's always nice to get an eagle. Puts him up to 8 under. 1 under for today. Back to the 8th.
Brent Guyberger for birdie. 1 birdie, 1 bogey. Even par for his round. 1 for the first time this year at Houston. Back to 7.
Now see if Tiger could have gone to school on that putt of Chris Perry's just a few moments ago.
If you stand behind the line, Ian, you really get the sense that this putt moves from right to left, but no doubt Chris Perry overread it, and I think Tiger will have learned.
A lot of the hole locations you'll notice are way back in the corners of these huge greens. And the same thing, good call there, Judy. Just left it out to the right-hand side. Didn't take the break as you would have seen it. The grain perhaps coming back. You could hear him commenting there. Just trust the grain. Don't go with what your eyes see. Trust what the grass is going to do to it at the end. And today, the MetLife blimp Snoopy 1 this time is navigating the skies above the Champions Golf Club here in Houston to provide aerial coverage of today's golf action, and good coverage it is too. The blimp is powered by two 68 horsepower engines, enabling it to reach a maximum speed of 55 miles an hour at an altitude of 7,000 feet. That's about 2,135 meters. Look to the skies for the MetLife blimp at future golf events.
Meters, you just had to throw that in and embarrass all of us, didn't you?
No, it's just for my Aussie friends at home. They're all watching the ABC telecast. It's their favourite network in Australia. And a par 4 for Chris Perry. Good 4. Safe second shot. Good lag putt. Tiger disappointed there, but as we've said many times before, he's really just hanging on to win because he knows he doesn't have to do anything brilliant. He's got a 4-shot lead. And as we saw last week, if he'd hold those few extra little putts that we get so used to seeing him do, he'd win by a street. Woods leads Perry by 4. And he's heading over to the 8th tee at Steve Milne.
All right, Ian, I think this is a perfect opportunity to play heady golf. He doesn't know it, but the 8th at only 182 yards has been the most difficult hole relative to par on the golf course today. Flagstick back left. We've seen a number of balls that have hit left of the putting green have basically made their way down into the water there. They've shaved the bank. And we've seen, unfortunately, triples early in the day by Stuart Appleby, a number of other doubles. Only 2 birdies here all day.
Steve, on that very subject, Butch Harmon went to the practice tee this morning with Tiger, and they had a hole location sheet, a pin sheet, if you would. And one of the big things that they discussed was which hole locations to be aggressive and attack today, and which to just play for the center of the green, play for the 25-foot putt.
Yes, I mean, it's only a little one. You just hit that last 7 on 182 on that last hole. Right in the center of that bunker.
Yeah. Well, with his overpowering length, he should pick his spots, take advantage of the long 4s and 5s, and be content to make par at a hole like this.
Move it over, wind.
Actually started it just left of the flagstick and moved it just a wrinkle to the right with a 6-iron.
Well, a good miss in this case, being long. Right over the top of the flagstick. I don't know that he aimed it there. I think he may have pulled it a hair. And if you do pull shots, they go a little bit farther.
Steve, that's exactly why you play it to the right of the hole. It gives you more room for error. If you do pull it, if you do hook it, it's not in the water.
And this is a tough hole location for Chris Perry. He likes to go left to right.
The 6-iron for Chris. I think one of the important things when you have a difficult hole location like this is do not fight your natural shot. Don't try to work it back right to left into this hole location. Start it at the flagstick. Take it 15, 18, 20 feet to the right of the hole.
Perfect example of what Judy talked about. He didn't have a shot that could find the flagstick, but he was going to attempt to putt from there and make par. Well, we talked about the problems here at 8 earlier today. Stuart Appleby out early, fired at the flagstick. Watch how close this comes to the putting surface. Just off the edge. The shaved bank.
Steve, I question that. We've talked many times about it this week.
And now his 3rd, he dropped from behind the regular water hazard. And once again, You said earlier in the week, I questioned the agronomics here, if you will, the course setup. It's a little severe, so that's in 3. Now, Jeff Maggart, local player, he knows this course. He's aiming at the flagstick. That just misses the green. And the result, the same, unfortunately.
And Steve, we question it because it's the only places on the golf course the fringes are shaved, right at the water line.
Now, Mr. Duval, Dame Fortune smiling on his shot. Much like Applebee's, but by about an inch, stayed in that very small ribbon of rough. Went on to make par as we go to 10.
Davis Love hit an awesome shot for his second here at the 466-yard par 4. This for the payoff. Love alone in third at 9 under par. And a bogey-free day for Davis. Love at 10. As he moves on to the par 4 11th, a familiar face waiting to shake his hand and say hello. President George Bush, First Lady Barbara Bush, 41st President of the United States, a tremendous golf fan. Here to see Davis Love and the others. Tiger in the lead in our final round.
We're back at the par 3 8th Chris Perry long birdie bid, paired with Tiger Woods, with whom he's paired with for the first time.
Said he was going to do his own thing and not be intimidated, but that's tough to do sometimes. It's hard to not be intimidated a little bit or look at him because he does do things you haven't seen very often before.
Remarkably steady year, 28 out of 29 cuts, 25 consecutive cuts made this year. 4 times, actually 4 consecutive weeks this summer, finished in the top 10.
Well, we have a second, Steve. The primetime football lineup starts this evening on ESPN. Should be a good one. The Buccaneers and their great defense led by Warren Sapp taking on the Central leading Lions from Pontiac, Michigan. Then Monday Night Football stays in the Midwest. In Wisconsin, Al, Boomer, and Leslie will bring you the return of Mike Holmgren to Lambeau to take on Brett Favre and the Packers. ABC's Monday Night Football tomorrow live at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. The return to number 8.
Mr. Woods, who pitched from behind the green to this point, has this for par. Well, you get some idea of how good, how quickly Woods has performed. Nicklaus always a measuring standard of greatness. He's in Tiger's rearview mirror.
This is the most physically talented golfer I have seen in my lifetime.
Judy, if you measure the game as a function of your control over it, I think he's got it all. This a rarity. So the drop shot, Woods moves to 13 under, up ahead at 9.
Geiberger at the 9th. Third shot.
Just a shot of 81 yards. This is a sand wedge. He elected to lay up on this par 5 after a very good drive.
A little bit wind.
That's a nice play. He's 8 under at the moment. In fourth, sharing fourth position with John Hewson, Duffy Waldorf. Back to the 8th.
Perry now. 12 top 10s in this very strong year. No wins. Okay. So Woods, like Perry, even for the day. Woods lead on the first tee 3. It remains 3. But Peter, the par 5s have been where Woods has taken advantage of, particularly on your hole.
Yes, he's well, he overpowers them, doesn't he? It's just extraordinary how. But before we see him there, we'll go to the 11th.
Thanks, Peter. And this hole location today right in the very front left, and the players making sure they miss this hole to the right, because of the water also on the left and the steep embankment down leading to it. There's Davis just rolling it up nice and close. You can putt off this green and it will roll down into the water if you're not careful. I don't think we'll see it today, but it's possible to be done.
Well, you see the leaders moving to the ninth. Let's take a look at the ninth hole, a par 5, reachable for most everybody during the week. Today, a little bit tougher because it's a little cooler. The ball's not traveling as far. Tiger obviously can get it on. They'll drive just past the dog leg to about this point right there. Then left with a wood into the front of the green. Maybe can get it back into the middle of the green with 2 good hits. You see just tree line the entire way. And then look how big this green is. Flagstick today is in the toughest possible position, all the way in the very back right.
And first up, Chris Perry.
Just a very light breeze back in the player's face from the left.
They murmur yes.
I think if he's able to get that on, Peter, he'll just be able to get it on the front part of the green, then be left with a difficult pitch or long putt.
Yeah, you might be better being 20, 30 yards short of the green than just on the front and have to chip over the edge of the bunker or something. But I fancy if Tiger gets a good one away, although he's teeing that ball very low, he may just be using his something with a bit of loft on it, but he's got the power to reach, I fancy.
His line should be about right in that position, just over the edge of the dog leg.
Gentlemen, I have seen him hit a 4-iron and a 5-iron into this green this week already.
Well, beautifully placed. And of course, he does tend to overpower the par 5s. That's a great asset to hit so far. Well, we'll return with more coverage of the 1999 Tour Championship presented by Southern Company after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You know, you're watching the PGA Tour on ABC Sports. Thank you, and you're welcome to the Champion Club here as we look at the final pair. This is Chris Perry lining up his second shot at his 9th hole of the day.
Oh, it should be almost dead at you, though. Like this or the other one? No, I think I like that. It's got to be playing at least a good 236, 238 to carry.
Well, that would be 231 yards in fact with the breeze back in his face. They were talking about the other one. Chris Perry also has a 4-wood in his bag, but this is the 3-wood.
Judy, can he carry the bunkers on the right? You heard Caddy say 230 something.
I think that's marginal into this breeze. It is kicked up just at the moment, and it is right back into his face.
So maybe the smart play and the safe play is right up the middle of the green, right to that position.
Well, he's taken it toward the right bunker.
I was asking a lot to carry it, and he's ended up in the sand. And if he's got a reasonable lie, a good lie, and a decent stance, he's not all that far away. And with the great skill the players have now from sand, he should have no great difficulty getting down. In 2 from there now, Tiger Woods.
227 with a 2-iron. He can start the ball at the center and just let it drop off to the right towards the flagstick.
Get out! Yeah!
Wonderful shot.
So Tiger to the par 5 in 2, leading Perry by 3, who's bunkered in 2. Again, we mentioned Vijay Singh, the only player really to make a significant run up the leaderboard on this afternoon. As we told you at the top of the broadcast, so many players wearing knickers. Any of them who could logistically get it done are wearing knickers today, other than the ribbons and the armbands in memory of Payne Stewart. As life goes on for the players, life goes on for the Stewart family as well. And yesterday, if you didn't see it, whether it was in our college football coverage or our friends at the Golf Channel, Payne's son Aaron, playing Pop Warner football, caught a touchdown. His football team was among those at the memorial service. The task of life going on is so difficult, but it's good to see that almost the youth can be a reminder to all of us how things must go on and proceed forward. And PGA Tour Commissioner Tim Finchem was so intricately involved in everything that happened this week with the decisions of playing and not playing, and more importantly, helping everyone remember Payne Stewart. Let me have your impressions on a week the likes of which really most sports have not seen.
It was obviously unique, very difficult week, but at the same time it was uplifting to see the family, to see Tracy's strength, to see the way all the PGA Tour players came together and reached out for each other and for the family. And now the question is, how can we do something that's appropriate to perpetuate the best things about Payne Stewart? And we'll be talking to our policy board about that next month. It's clear that we're going to at least build a first tee facility in his honor, probably in Missouri, but we'll probably be doing something else to perpetuate this great champion's memory for all of golf.
In talking with the players, did you sense that the strength that they got from each other was in large part after the memorial service, seeing the strength of the family and specifically Payne's widow, Tracy?
Yeah, I think they were all very impressed with the strength of the family, but I think they were also impressed by the fact that there were so many players who were grieving together and reaching out, and it was just an incredible display. And the fact that they have come together so well this week, I think, is indicative of the attitude that they have that this is a family. And I think it will pay real positive dividends for this sport going forward, and I'm sure Payne would have been delighted to have that happen.
As you see, Chris Perry with his third at the ninth. Commissioner, in addition to you and your PGA Tour staff, and hats off as well from all of us to the Southern Company, the presenting sponsor for this event, one of the many areas where people pulled aviation together to try to get the players from here down to the memorial service in Orlando.
The Southern Company was just tremendous all week, and by the way, so was ESPN and ABC, and working with us on airtime, putting together the memorials that were aired, but everybody in the sport, I've had countless phone calls in my home with messages left about, why don't you do this for Payne, why don't you do that? Everybody involved who follows this sport came together this week, and it was a great thing to see.
Thanks for your leadership in this as well.
Thank you.
Tim Finchem, Commissioner of the PGA Tour, let's send you back over to Nye.
And there's the ninth green, and Chris Perry has played out of the bunker, and Tiger has a long putt for an eagle. I don't think he'd mind two putting from this range. Caddy holding the flag in. I find it interesting that Steve Williams caddies. He's from the Antipodes down there, Australia-New Zealand way, and he's caddying for the most exciting young player this side. And Jerry Higginbottom, an American, is caddying for Sergio Garcia, the young wonder man from Europe. And they both have similar looks, the caddies, and both excellent at what they do.
Pretty speedy around the hole, though, downhill.
Pretty cozy.
Boy, he's had a wonderful touch from long distance this week.
Reminds me of these great players who play bowls on grass, sort of rolling up to the jack. To the 10th.
And Brent Godberger's second shot.
This is a 5-iron from 197 yards. Coming off a beautiful birdie on number 9 to get himself to 9 under, too.
And once again, when Brent gets in trouble, he lays the club off a great deal at the top of the swing. And what that does, it gets the club too far on the inside coming down. If there's something I think he might ought to work on a little bit or be conscious of it. Let's take a look at this. Everything looks perfect. I tell you, it looks just like his dad, Al. Perfect setup. Big, tall, thin man. Everything looks ideal there. The top of the swing. Now watch the club. We can stop it right there. The club should be pointing more in this direction. It's pointing over here, which means on the way down, if we can stop it halfway down, we'll show what problem that gets in. See, the club is actually a little bit too far over here. It should be a little bit more up and down, pointed right at the ball. and then sometimes left out to the right, and then sometimes crossed over with the hands and goes to the left. But other than that, pretty doggone good swing.
1 under for the day, 5 off the lead, back to the 9th.
And Chris Perry has played a pretty good bunker shot. And he's got this, must be near as damn it 4 feet. Perhaps a little less than that, but it's one of those that you can miss with the grain and of course the situation. Didn't mean to put the mockers on him. That's a par. The Tiger keeps 1 more ahead. Well, Tiger's still got to finish off his putt.
And when you're 3 or 4 behind, I don't care the start of the round or in the middle of the round, you cannot let strokes slip away.
Tiger gets his birdie, a 2-putt birdie, which he does most of the time on the par 5s.
Well, it would be a big story if anybody can catch Tiger here on this second 9. The closest in pursuit, tied with Guy Berger and Duffy Waldorf. Davis Love, 2 under for the day and 9 under. Chris Perry made par at 9, but certainly let a stroke slip away as he stays 4 shots in arrears of Tiger Woods in our final round of the Tour Championship, presented by Southern Company. Well, 10 has been a birdie opportunity, as good a birdie opportunity as there is on a par 4 today. Tiger on the tee.
Another 3-wood just to put it at the bend in the dog leg. Driver would go too far, have to cut over the edge, and there's bunker there, as you see, guarding the left edge.
And Chris Perry.
Well, this one more down the left side, and it could prove to be a little bit difficult angle with the hole on the left portion of the green today.
We'll scoot you forward to the 18th. Ian Baker Finch, we talked about Stuart Appleby wearing Payne Stewart's clothing today.
Yes, we were there at the house on last week, Wednesday, and Stuart decided to go up, and we went out and chose a classic outfit of Payne's classic collection, and Tracy was very happy for him to be honouring Payne in such a way.
Wonderful way for a man who does this with such a heavy heart. Stuart Appleby, who lost his wife in an accident right after the British Open 15 months ago.
We're at the 13th hole. Mr. Alice, I'll pass it off to you.
Yes, and Davis Love. And this may be the easiest of the par 5s.
That was a 3-wood from 290 yards, and he ripped it.
He certainly must have done, Gary. That's on the green. He really has that languid power. To Woods at the 10th.
Second shot. This a moment ago.
Flag stick in the left portion of the green. It's coming up a little bit short.
Well, we've told you of Tiger's success this year. The final round charge in San Diego, the Buick Invitational, was big. Memorial 69, but remember that was a scrambling 69, so many up and downs. At the Western, didn't play his best round of the week. Same true at the PGA when he was holding off Garcia and company. Then in Akron, 71, and last week at Disney, 73. The point is interesting because in the first 3 rounds, Tiger's scoring average is 69.45. In the last couple of rounds, you see, in the last round, excuse me, his final round scoring average is 61st. But in Curtis, there's part of that story that says he's doing the right things to win, not necessarily going for the best score.
Just playing to win. It depends. If he goes into the last round with a big lead, then he doesn't have to shoot 67 or 8. 71 or 2 gets the job done. He gets the job done. It doesn't depend. It depends on how big the lead was, and whatever it is, he plays to win and has done a good job.
As you saw President Bush, Commissioner Fincham watching at the 10th. Long one for Chris Perry.
Can't speak enough of President Bush. He's been such a big supporter of golf in general and the PGA Tour, and he's a wonderful man.
And Barbara Bush
likes fast play too. That's what I like.
Mr. Hannigan, you like him because he plays fast. Is that right?
Very fast. And his father was president of the USGA.
That's right. Chris Perry's card today. An even par opening 9. Before Tiger, the 11th hole.
Second shot from Brent Geiberger from the left bunker.
190 yards in. This is a 4-iron. The lip is no problem. We got a pretty good lie, too.
I'd call this to be going somewhere right of the hole.
That sounded a little heavy, Ian. He's got to miss it right.
Well, that's a safe shot. It wasn't one that he was really trying to hit next to the flag, that's for sure. There's water in shot there. If you do miss the green to the left, it finishes up in there. Back 1 to 10.
And Tiger's birdie attempt. Birdie's at 5 and 9. Dropped shot at the par 3/8 when he went directly over the flag. 13th.
Davis Love, this huge putt for a 3 on the par 5. Over the top it comes, and well, he got a very good line. He was a long, long way away, and he's got that up very well indeed. To the 11th.
And a little chip shot here for Brent Geiberger from the front of the green.
Has to be a little bit careful here, Ian, that he doesn't gun this ball. Anything past the hole could release down the hill. That's very well judged.
I agree. Just coming up just short. That's about where he was hoping to get it to. As Mike said, you couldn't really have a go at that one. Ahead to 13.
Davis Love finishing this one off. Just to go to 10 under. And now tied with Perry. Second spot. At 4 behind Tiger. Back to the 10th.
Perry par putt.
Remember, he missed one of just shorter than this on the 9th hole for birdie. Good putt there, though. Good save.
Well, many of the players in this field are heading over to Valderrama, to Spain, for the first ever World Golf Championship American Express Championship. Saturday at 1 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Before college football for most of you. After it on the West Coast, you'll see Sergio and Tiger at Valderrama. Bring you 17 hours of coverage on ESPN and ABC. Tiger's hoping it's 3 wins in a row. He's on his way to a second win in a row here at the Tour Championship. He leads by 4, and we're back with more coverage of the 99 Tour Championship presented by Southern Company after this message and a word from your ABC station. You're watching the PGA Tour on ABC Sports.
We're on the 11th tee, and Tiger Woods about to drive. He takes a 4-shot lead with 8 holes to play. Lots of supporters out there watching Tiger. And Chris Perry, of course.
Ian, the bunker on the left is not in play for Tiger, and probably not in play for Chris Perry as well.
And as I said, lots of supporters out there watching this group, and a couple of very famous supporters down with Judy Rankin.
Well, it is my great pleasure at the 11th tee, President Bush and Mrs. Bush. We're so happy to have you in the crowd today, and your take on Tiger Woods' great play.
Well, he looks like he's unbeatable these days. I mean, everybody has an up or down day, I guess, but this guy's really put it together. And I don't see anyone stopping him today. He's just strong, steady, smart golf. He's got it all.
Houston has come out in great numbers. The galleries are ringing every hole from tee to green. You have to be pretty proud of your home city.
We certainly are, and I must say all the players are great young men, too. So it makes it fun.
It's a great golfing city, it really is.
And the state of your golf game?
It's pretty bad. It's really pretty bad. But it's not exactly how low the handicap. That's not really what matters.
It's how much you love the game and how much you enjoy playing.
That's it. You got it. You like to win. If you get enough strokes, that's a good thing. Even a lousy golfer can play with a good one, provided you get ample strokes. It's wonderful. It's a great equalizer.
Well, we all know that if you get to win, you love the game even more.
That's true. And I used to do some Barbara's pretty good then.
Terrible.
But anyway, we love it, and it's wonderful that Houston's such a great golfing city. Marvelous courses here.
Thank you both very much for your support of golf. We all appreciate it, and thank you for talking with us today. Enjoy the day.
Thank you very much, Judy. We'll go back down to the fairway, and I know Chris Perry getting ready to play his shot. There he is, just level with the bunker on the left. Oak tree on the right is not in play. And there you have the flag right on the little hump, right on the front left corner of this green. Lake on the left, bunker on the right. I'd call for it somewhere in the front center of the green would be a good play here. Something like that. And a little safe, but not too bad. He's got some work to do. He's tied for second at the moment, 4 back. Needs a little help from Tiger, but he needs at least 3 birdies if he's going to be up there at the end. Head to 13.
Duffy Waldorf at the 13th. Third shot, long bunker shot, never easy. Oh, we've been unlucky there. You heard the sound when he went into the sand, which they told us the sand was wet, but an excessive amount of backspin on it, but very difficult to get it close to the 12th.
Brett Guyberg on the tee, this par 3 measuring 201 yards, 3 iron.
Steve, he's taking a dead aim, a very aggressive line right at this hole.
Indeed, brave play, great shot.
Well, while we were away, this is Chris Perry's birdie attempt. Long range. Lots of grain here that he has to be concerned with. Doesn't want to rip it past the hole. Because that's what happens. Just keeps rolling on out. He can't really lag. He has to really try and give it a go and make a few birdies. This is Tiger now live for birdie.
But Ian, it's tough when the man that you're chasing is always inside of you.
Exactly right. And he's doing it on the bit. He really is. He can drive it in the fairway and hit those short irons to the greens. It's such a huge advantage. And then he can still miss putts like that, still take the lead. Back to 12.
There has only been 1 birdie here at the 12th today. Guyberger for perhaps the second. Yes. Pretty cool. To 11.
Brent Guyberger knocked that one in at the 12th to tie this man. Chris Perry needs to hold this now to stay in that position. Tied 4 shots behind. Just a little left to right.
You know, Ian, I can't help but smile with all the different bodies, shapes that we have on tour, and all of them in their +4s today. I think the man who's probably laughing the most is Payne Stewart looking down on him.
Definitely. He's cackling away up there.
That's right.
You see Chris Perry has WPS. That's William Payne Stewart, written in black ink on his hat. In memory of Payne. We all have fond memories of the man.
He'd be throwing a few jobs today at everyone.
There's a few beauties out there. Oh, Lumpy didn't look too good in him. Chris looks pretty good.
Yeah.
14.
Davis looks pretty good in them too.
Yeah.
For Brady, they are not made for those of us of average height. To borrow Mr. McKay's line about 5'8" and under. Davis leaves that short. It's tied with Perry and Geiberger at 10 under.
And once again, when you play a conservative shot, it's a tough 2-putt.
Pretty picture. Tough hole, number 12.
And Mike, another hole like the 8, where you can run up a big score if you kind of lose flight of your senses here. So I'm sure Mr. Woods, knowing the situation, 4 shots in hand. And take a look at this. In the 90s, most victories. Nick Price, big lead, but look at Tiger Woods. How fast he's come on. Interesting today, it's unlikely to happen, but Davis Love, who's 4 back, if he wins today, would become the all-time leading money winner by passing Greg Norman. So it has been a superlative year for those 9 players, 8 players there.
5 on, dude, so 5 on right in the middle of that leaning tree. Ain't even anywhere else.
White, please.
Well, if you could hear that exchange, it was started right in the middle of that leaning tree. That leaning tree, from the tee anyway, is just about 20 feet to the right of the hole. Tiger with a 5-iron.
And you also heard the caddy getting very much involved in the strategy. Something that was questioned a lot. If you remember the finish of the British Open with John Van de Velde, the caddy allowed him to hit certain shots that a lot of people disagreed with.
We're at the target.
It's no longer John's caddy when we go over to Spain next week. Sunday Night Football. The Buccaneers, boy, their defense is really good. Tony Dungy's team takes on the Lions without Barry Sanders, still in first. Packers trying to get back to first in the Central. What a scene it will be at Lambeau tomorrow night. Mike Holmgren returns on Lombardi Avenue to take on Favre and the Pack. See you tomorrow night for Monday Night Football with Al, Boomer, and Leslie at 9 Eastern.
Chris Perry next to play, 201 yards. Choice of clubs, Judy.
4-iron for Chris. We have seen him hit identical clubs to Tiger at another par 3 today, but I really think they are close to 1 club apart.
And like the whole location at 8, Chris's shot just doesn't fit what is required here. He plays left to right.
This is a pretty tough par 3, Steve, but it seems fairly tame at the moment because the wind is down. It is very calm.
To 14.
And Davis has this putt for par. So Davis's work on the front, 1 under. 2 out of 4 in the birdie column here on the back. Second in Honolulu at the Sony Open in Hawaii in a week when he was more interested in surfboarding lessons. Remember that week, right?
Every day.
And then second at Augusta. Tiger by 4. Right back in Houston after this.
Southern Company, proud sponsor of the 1999 Tour Championship, today salutes Hal Sutton.
A rock-solid player who was at the top of his game this year. Hal finished in the top 10 in 12 Tour events, winning the Canadian Open, and he came into this week 5th on the money list. He can hole some big putts, but his biggest strength is his driving, an exceptional mix of distance and accuracy. Hal, who won this event last year, hopes to become the first to win it 2 years in a row.
We're back at the 12th. Chris Perry, long putt across the green. 4 back. took Chris 378 tries before he won his first event at the BC Open last year. And with the consistent play he's shown this year, I think he's going to add to that list in great numbers. Let's move ahead to 13.
The par 5, Geiberger's third.
That's just a sandwich from 92 yards. He laid up into the left rough. Had to play that a little more conservative because of that lie, Peter.
Yeah, pretty good result. Back to the 12th.
Tiger, I think he realizes now that he's just about going to have it on cruise control. And the last thing he wants is to leave putts like that. 4-shot lead with 7 holes in hand. It has been an extraordinary run since he came on tour in 1996, and he has elevated his play to levels that we just didn't think possible out here. And if he was a pitcher, he would have the, let's say, the speed of a Nolan Ryan and the control of a Greg Maddux. The way he plays the game, it's impressive to watch. 218. That's well put.
Nick Price finishing. Nick drops back to 2 under for the championship, 74 today. 12th again.
His only blemish today was the missed putt for par at the 8th. A little shorter here, but same tight putt. If he loses it, it'll be to the right. Well done. First it was Bob Clay and then Ernie Els last week at Disney that he held off. I think he's a little bit like Nicklaus. Nicklaus got on the leaderboard, never left, and the intimidation factor took over. 214.
Duffy. An eagle on 9 earlier. A birdie on 10. Back 113th.
Geiberger at the 13th for a birdie. Could claim second spot on his own if it goes in. To 12.
Chris Perry now for par. So acquitting himself nicely, never having played with Tiger before. You do that when you have great confidence in what you're doing. Well, we have forgotten to tell you all a happy Halloween out there. October 31st. And Halloween is the great holiday for kids.
Texas Longhorn fan there,
yes.
A little guy. Hook 'em horns.
I thought he was ordering 4 pints.
no.
Works in a sawmill.
In the borders of this state, that's hook 'em horns.
Let's take a look at the 13th hole as the leaders move there. It's a par 5, and it's a very long one, too. You see they drive over the edge of Cypress Creek right in this position. And then turn the dog leg. Tiger will be able to knock it up far enough to possibly get it on today. Chris Perry, maybe. Flagstick today is all the way back right. So if you do leave in the front left or left portion of the green, very difficult to get it up and down in 2. Another big sloping green with a ridge running right through the middle of it.
And the final pair now on the tee. Tiger first. He's birdied this hole every time he's played it. And he's driven pretty well today. He's only missed a couple of fairways. Now this is a hole that he needs a good tee shot. If he can find the fairway and get good distance.
Great shot there.
Great shot, they say, almost before the ball has gone more than 50 yards.
You know, Peter, that's a large part in why he's playing so well now. The drive sets up the entire golf course in every hole. And when he's driving it so long and straight, the game is easy.
Sure. To 15.
Davis Love's second shot.
Just a wedge from 140 yards after a perfect drive.
Much breeze, Gary?
Not right now, Ian. It's pretty calm.
Leave it alone, win.
And a safe shot again. Pretty hard to get it all the way back there. Back to 13.
Chris Perry's tee shot. And that also is a very, very nice tee shot into an excellent position. Still got a long way to go up to the green. This hole, 551 yards, and we'll return with more coverage of the 1999 Tour Championship presented by Southern Company after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching the PGA Tour on ABC Sports. Looking back from behind the 13th green, the par 5, 551 yards, but it's a hole that Tiger's birdied every time. But before he hits his second, here's Chris Perry.
Chris Perry with his driver. 283 all the way back to the hole.
Setting up well left to hit his cut.
Well, he went straight at it, but he was at least 10, 12 yards short of carrying the sand for the 15th.
Davis Love for birdie now from long range. Needs to make a couple of these. Fall behind. Ideally, he would have loved to have seen that one go in. He's certainly a man that won't be hanging on over the last few holes, that's for sure. Back to 13.
And Tiger, now the one thing he mustn't do here is block it out to the right. There's a big pit down on the right-hand side of this green.
Well, he will go at the green with a 3-wood. It's 272 yards to the hole.
Oh, God.
Hit it very high and has protected a little too much. It will be a little left.
Well, missed one, caught the second. Level with the front quarter of the green. Might be a slightly tricky bunker shot, could be on a downslope, but again it's a par 5, and even if he makes for him what we'd consider for him an error, the worst you fancy he can do is a par.
ABC Sports coverage of the 1999 Tour Championship presented by Southern Company, brought to you by KPMG. KPMG, it's time for clarity. Unisys, when it comes to information services and technology, we eat, sleep, and drink this stuff. And Mobile One, nothing outperforms Mobile One. At the finishing hole, Jeff Sluman made bogeys on 2 of the first 4 holes, 5 under since. Birdie here would get Jeff to 9 under and a top 5 finish.
And Jeff, one of the players who started off in the +4s, and they didn't quite well, so changed on the second green, but wanted to show his respect to Payne. And there you have it there.
68 today, 8 under for the championship. Carlos Franco finished at 4 under. 16.
Davis Love on the tee at this par 3, measuring 173, 6 iron.
Just a little breeze from the left and slightly helping.
Davis faces an interesting solution in that he is not sure yet if he's going to Spain. He said he wanted to play either 100% or win, so he's somewhere in between here. And the MetLife blimp Snoopy 1 is cruising the skies of Houston to provide aerial coverage of the 1999 Tour Championship. The blimp typically cruises at a speed of 35 miles per hour and an altitude of 1,200 feet. Look to the skies for the MetLife blimp as it continues its golf coverage into the next millennium. The 14.
Guy Berger's second.
It's a 170-yard second shot. The hole is located way to the left on the screen. He's got to hook this ball around. He's chosen an 8-iron. Trying to shut that down, Mike, and turn it in there like a 7-iron. He's left it a little to the right.
That's the third time we've seen him trying to hit a draw into a hole and leave it out a little bit.
He's having trouble doing that today, Curtis.
The 13th.
The final pair. Chris Perry first, just in that front bunker, and quite a long way to go.
They both face very difficult bunker shots. This is all of 45 yards.
Well, you see what happens when you go too deep. And if you go too narrow, the ball shoots over the heads of the spectators standing behind the green. So it's a very, very tricky position. You're never quite sure. There's a bit of good fortune if you manage to just judge it right. Tiger.
He has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He cannot afford to be long with this shot. There is trouble over the green and past the hole. Hit it very nicely. Bunker play has dramatically improved this year. He moved from 81st to 27th in the rankings in the last year in bunker play.
Up to 80.
Number 2 on the money list and the world rankings, David Duval for birdie. This will end the season for David Duval. He's one of the players who is not going over to Spain, sticking with his word from early in the year.
Said he would only go if he had a chance to win the money title, and he doesn't, so he'll stick at home.
He got to number 1. It lit an incredible fire under Woods, who's been catapulted to an unbelievable May on. But don't take away from what David Duval did for the first really 16 weeks of this season.
Well, I think Tiger pushed David, and David had such a good half of the season. Phenomenal winning 4 times before April. And then don't think that his play didn't spur Tiger on. So the two competing against each other has been fantastic for the tour and the game of golf.
4 wins, part of 12 top 10s in 20 events coming into this year. David Duval finishes at 4 under. He won't be there next week in Spain at the World Golf Championships, the American Express Championship, but the man who many feel is the next rival for Tiger as the years go on, Sergio Garcia, will be there. We'll start our 17 hours of coverage on ESPN Thursday morning, early 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, over here on your ABC affiliate. Across the country on the weekend, Saturday at 1 Eastern, 4 Pacific time, right after the good college football action in the Pac-10 for those of you on the West Coast. Sunday as well, that also a $5 million event with $1 million, the first prize check. See you from Valderrama next week. Peter.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, I'm rather looking forward to seeing a bit of golf from Valderrama, but first we've got to see if Mr. Perry can get down in no worse than 2 from the front of this 13th green.
You know, Peter, I don't blame his third shot out of the bunkers being that poorly hit. I think his second shot might have been a bad judgment, trying to get it on the green, and left himself a very tough third shot, but a good putt there.
Yeah, beautiful putt.
It's all part of the decisions you make on the golf course and the management of your game on the golf course.
If his shots with a driver from the fairway had been 5 or 6 more yards to the left, he'd have run it on the front of the green. So, you know, you never know. To 16.
Davis for birdie. It has been a flawless final round. 3 birdies, no bogeys. He and brother Mark will be sitting down at the end of this round and trying to decide what their travel plans are. To 13.
And Tiger with well, a putt about 18 feet for a birdie. I was saying before, if he's made any mistakes, they've come on the par 5s. And he's escaped a couple of times. He had a birdie on one occasion. Here he is. That's all this week. 8 under. It's a huge advantage. If it turns, it's in. Oh, it just didn't. He's run that admissible distance past. I'm sure his confidence is so high at the moment that he doesn't even think about the one coming back. To the 16th.
Davis for his par. And back at 13.
Woods, a good 4-footer for a par. Yeah, smoothly done, smoothly done. He's going on his merry way. Leads by 4.
Up 4 with 5 to go. Woods on the tee at 14. For 16, no need for the big stick.
Beautiful shot.
This hole narrows in at about 250, so just laying it back in the widest part of this fairway.
So another fairway hit, 2 missed today, the 17th.
Davis Love, 441, strong par 4.
Going with a 3-wood off the tee, Peter.
I think that's a draw.
I think he may have switched. Originally had the 3-wood. That may have gone back and switched, Kevin.
Well, he split the fairway. He's played very nicely today without doing anything too electrifying to go back to the final pair.
Perry, part of a 3-way tie for second right now.
Shot.
So Tiger ahead of Perry, ahead of everybody lately. A win today would give Tiger 7 victories, and we've included Nick Price's British Open and Tom Watson's British Open. They were later added as official PGA Tour victories for counting purposes. Gives you an idea of how long it's been since we've seen a season where one player has won so often. Only be equaled since 1960 by the 2 Palmer seasons and Johnny Miller 25 years ago.
I know that reads only since 1960, Mike, but it's hard to forget Byron Nelson, 1945, right? 11
in a row.
In a row.
19 total.
19 total in the year. The 11 in the row sticks in my mind as being something that's never going to happen again. That's one of the sports trivias that will never happen again. Let's go to 16.
Hal Sutton, who won in such a dramatic fashion the playoff last year with Vijay Singh, got off to a rugged start and just couldn't get anything going. 1 over par in his round. He was the workhorse, the guy that I think the other Ryder Cup players looked to for support at Brookline, along with this guy to 17.
Tom Lehman at the 17th. Oh, good shot from Tom. Very nicely done. 3 over though today. Been a difficult week for Tom. I thought the way his demeanor at both here and at the service in Orlando was really remarkable. It showed great restraint and great compassion. 14th.
Second for Perry.
Well, a 7-iron in his hand. He is looking for a big one with the hole cut on the left over the water. 182 yards. A little breeze at his back.
And this is once again, as was said 2 other times on this backside, with the flagstick way left against either water or hazard. It's a difficult hole location for Chris, who cuts most every shot.
That spot in the green at 14 is being worn out. That's where every ball, for the most part, has ended up today.
Hole locations have generally been very tough today. I think they have really kept players on their toes, not only for club choices, but looking at pin sheets from the tee as to which side of the fairway you would like to drive the ball. 9-iron for Tiger.
One other thing, Judy, is that, you know, when they can put the pin on the front of the green and then put on the back of the green, it's 3 clubs difference.
Oh, you bet. They can make this golf course play even longer than the yardage reads on the scorecard, much longer.
2 fairways missed, 1 green missed today. Leader by 4, 17.
Davis Love's second shot.
Indeed, it was a driver off the tee, leaving him just 167 yards left.
Oh, beautiful shot. Very smooth swing. Beautiful judgment. Well, there's only a few holes to go. I suppose you could say much can happen, but looking good for Mr. Woods.
Mike directions.
When do you get in?
Right on 1960.
Tuesday night.
Left on what?
Left on Cutter Road, which is the next light, C-U-T-T-E-R.
Okay.
Cutton Road, C-U-T-T-E-N.
Okay.
Go to Victory Church, which is not a street name, it's a place of worship. You'll see Victory Church and a new building. Take an immediate right onto a street with no name.
Before or after the church?
Before or after the church? Before or after the church?
At the church.
At the church.
Okay.
Take a right on the corner where the
Okay.
church is.
All right.
Then you go under.
Yes, you'll see 249 above you.
You'll see 249 above you.
Right and go underneath and around it.
Go under 249.
Take a right, go underneath.
Yep, sorry.
And you'll see signs to get onto
You'll see signs to get onto 8. You're okay, Frenchy.
Go under 249 and kind of circle around behind it, go to the right?
Yes.
Or see signs?
And then go into 8.
For 8. See signs for 8.
Oh, go 249 south? Yeah. Okay.
Mike, could you give those directions to Frank for me?
Sure.
Could you?
Will do.
As
Left on
Shaps
Cutton,
is
go to
driving.
Victory Church, new building. Go to take immediate right. Go under 249. And
Then
figure out how to get
then
on.
you turn
Okay.
left and swing left and go up.
I
Pick up
guess.
the motor
Yeah.
for 8.
Jack? Or Mike?
Yes, Mark.
The ride back from the National Cardinals at 9:30, is that right?
I don't know because I am not with you guys.
Okay, thank you. And the luggage needs to be at the other hotel by 9.
Say that again. What was that?
The luggage has to be... Yeah.
Hey, guys, I get in on Tuesday at about 9. If anybody hasn't gotten their luggage yet, just call. I'll try to bring something for you.
On a charter? Right.
I threw that away.
Is-
Sorry.
Is the
I haven't too, Curtis. You can have mine.
Is the Southern Company the presenting sponsor?
Yes.
That's their official name. Presenting sponsor.
Does Davis become leading money winner if he runs second?
All
Steve?
time?
No.
Okay, thanks.
Goes to second, I think.
He can still win.
Back at the 14th green, Chris Perry's made 10 pars in a row. This is a long birdie putt.
And everybody we have seen so far come up a little bit short from this direction. Straight downhill. Grain running to the water. Must be something there that the players don't see. Just not quite as fast as they think.
17.
Davis Love, he's had a good long look at this little putt. This to go to 11 over and second on his own. Four under today, within 3. 4 up the last for 67. Back to 14.
Tiger for birdie.
Hot.
See you later. To 15 under par. Woods, whose other 2 birdies today came on the par 5s. It's a birdie on the par 4. Well, the Tour Championship next year returns to a great place for golf, and a great story as well. East Lake in Atlanta. 1-888 Tour Tix or 1-888-868-7849 for ticket information for next year's Tour Championship in Atlanta. That is the only destination we're sure of for the rotation of the Tour Championship for now. We should know in the next 3 or 4 months the future stops for this event at season's end.
Now, because Chris left this first one 4 or 5 feet short, this is a very difficult putt. Very nicely done, but just had to be so careful with speed. You always want to putt your next one back up the hill.
Now 5 back and in third. The difference between second and third place is $195,000. They move to 15 and Ian Baker Finch.
Thanks very much, Mike. Well, this is a pretty interesting tee shot coming up. We saw lots of drama here on Thursday. And let's take a look at it. Tiger Woods came to this hole with the driver and left it out to the right. It's been well documented since then. The ball finished up not only in the woods but up against a rock. Tiger decided to play it. Tried to get it back in the fairway. You can see there, just past that little tree, he was trying to get it. Takes a full cut at it. See his club nearly went as far as the ball. But he did get it just far enough that he could then get his next at the green. That's the tight angle. That's the mark on the ball, the mark on the club, and the sore left wrist. Very next hole, cringing from the pain. Next tee shot. Shot into the green. Tee shot at the last. That really hurt. That's hurting me now. Second shot.
Great shot. You see the club.
What a shot it was. Goes on to tap that one in. Played the last 4 holes, 1 under par. Really hurting. Here he is at 15th. About to play today.
Ian, I think you noticed the same thing I was looking at. The position where he hit the rock on the club face, that's the same shot out to the right. Looks like it's a little better position, but he hit the rock on the club face perfectly.
Dead set in the center, wasn't it?
That's right.
Unbelievable. A guy asked me once about the mark on the center of my clubs. He said, what's that mark? I said, that's where I hit the ball. It wears it away. He said, come on, tell the truth. I said, no, really, the pros all wear their clubs away in the middle. You know, that's where we're aiming. We'll return with more coverage of the '99 Tour Championship, presented by Southern Company, after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You are watching the PGA Tour on ABC Sports. Chris Perry, second shot to the 15th.
With the breeze in his face, a 6-iron from 188.
It's quite a long club to be going with on this hole, just a short drive. Familiar characteristic, sort of slice across the ball, little left to right play. And a pretty good shot. Currently in 4th place. 4 behind to 16.
Well, the battle being waged now for second. This is Guyberger to tie Love at 11 under. Yes. The youngster hanging tough. Back at 15.
Now Tiger, second shot from the right rough.
There's an old adage in the game, the more you practice, the better you are, the luckier you'll get. This was a perfect lie.
Well, missed 3 fairways so far today, and got a pretty good lay each time. And no problems there, just over the back of the green, into the grain, no problems. To 18.
Oh, Davis now tied with Guyberger for second shot.
He's driven the ball beautifully all day, 6-iron.
Go. Ball. Cut. Boy, Davis is so talented. Looks like he's been at half speed for a while. Physically not 100%, but my gosh, we talk a lot about Tiger Woods and David Ball, but this man looks like he's kind of, like I said, half speed. He's going to finish second.
Around so long and age 35. It seems older than that because we've seen so much of him and playing so well. But he is 35. Brent Geiberger's age 31. Tiger is the youngest in the field at 23, looking for his first top 10 in this event. It's an interesting week. Oftentimes in these fields of 30, 29 players, somebody gets off to a bad start and then just is way back from the field. Nobody really blew up at all through the 4 days. Dennis Paulson, a tough round today, but +3, the highest score here in the championship. Snoopy 1, MetLife Blimp, the aerial pictures. Blimp travels over 60,000 miles a year to cover sporting events and television specials across North America. Thank them for the great pictures. This is our last event in the States with our entire ABC Sports golf team, and I want to take a moment to thank the women and men of this crew who travel around the country with us during the year. It is a pleasure to be in your company and an honor to put our voices to your pictures. To 15.
Thanks, Mike. And Chris Perry putting for birdie here. This is to get 4 behind Tiger Woods. He's really got to make something happen if he's going to finish in second position. I really don't think he has a chance of winning with just 3 holes to play. And Chris in 9th place on the money list would secure a high placing. Anytime you finish top 10 on the PGA Tour money list, you've had a wonderful year. To 18.
And Davis to get to -12.
Well, let me clarify what I was saying just a moment ago. Half speed. I mean, Davis isn't 100% physically, and I just think that he hasn't been real sharp this week. I mean, you can finish second or tied for second or maybe third and you're not sharp. Got a lot of time.
For sure. His 7th finish in the top 10 on the money list, too. A round of 67. From an emotional standpoint, tough, and physically for a man with the injuries to play 27 holes on 2 separate occasions in 3 days. 15 again.
And a putt from the fringe for Tiger. You can see that the dark color of the grass that's into the grain, so he can hit it firmly. And a very good putt. Unlucky not to go in. He'll remain 15 under, going for his 14th win of his career. Ahead to 18.
Tom Lehman. Love to see him make a birdie here at the last.
Tom as well.
That's a great finish for Tom. Even though he shot 73 today. They need to tell you what's going on in their heads. 15.
That's for sure, Mike. I think everyone's glad that the ordeal for them playing out there is over, and they can have some fond thoughts of Payne as they fly over to the next championship. And I thought it was a wonderful gesture from these players today, wearing the get-up that Payne has made famous around the world over the last 18 years. Chris Perry now obviously blocking all of those type of thoughts out of his mind at this point, trying to knock this one in for his par. 4th place is a pretty big check this week, 340,000. Be a nice check to take home, help those career earnings. And there you have it. Woods by 4 over Love and Geiberger. Perry just behind there in 4th place at 10. We'll be back in a moment.
Back at 16, Chris Perry tee shot.
Go.
That's a 7.
Go, ball. Go. Oh, yeah.
That's another one of those left-hand hole locations that must be driving him crazy today. And before Chris played, Tiger, 7-iron. It is perfection to watch.
Go, Tiger!
Steve, the backswing is just such a much better plane, pointing right at the target.
Technically, he may be perfect. Emotionally, he's close. To 17.
17th green. And Geiberger just away in the bottom right corner there. Going to come up over a hill. Long, long way. 2 putts would be excellent from here. Davis Love has completed his 4 rounds, 11 under. Geiberger's 11 under. Doesn't want to drop one now. Good play. Beautifully judged. Let's join Gary Smith.
Thank you, Peter. I'm joined by Tom Lehman on my right and Davis Love on my left. Tom, first of all, it's been a very emotional week for you this week. Were you very tired out there today?
I think we all were. It has just been easily the most emotional week, I think, of my life, probably. And you know, I'm drained. I'm just, you know, emotionally, spiritually exhausted, everything, and physically as well. And it was a difficult thing to get through this tournament. I'm glad it's over.
For those that didn't know this week, you led the service on Thursday, and you also were instrumental in arranging the knickers today.
Yeah, and you know, everybody, you know, does things, grieves differently. You know, so some guys warm, some guys didn't, some guys don't feel comfortable. But you know, everybody out here, everybody to a person loved Payne Stewart dearly, and everybody does things you know, the way they feel is best for them personally. And the knickers, you know, I think were a good idea for some guys, and other guys, you know, wore the tartan and the black ribbon, and you know, but you know, Payne is a knickers guy, and that's how I'm always going to remember him.
Well, thank you very much for everything you did this week.
Thank you.
And Davis, very good golf today there. You threw a lot of good shots in there. You drove the ball very well and made a few birdies, but might not quite get there today.
No, it's just not going to get there today. I knew going in I could shoot a good round and probably not catch Tiger. I saw 27 of it yesterday. There's a reason why he's winning every week. He's playing awfully, awfully well. And you know, that's been my frustration as we've talked, not feeling 100% and knowing that you know, my 100% might not even beat him, and I'm not quite playing 100%. But you know, I emotionally hung in there today, and I did a better job than I did yesterday. I think, like Tom said, it took a lot out of us this week, and my concentration went, my frustration went up at some times, and today playing with Tom, you know, I got off to a good start. And as you said, I drove the ball well, and that's what kept me in there. It's not really that that I hit that many great shots. I just drove it right in the fairway every hole.
Next week, it's been discussed that you might or might not go to Spain. Have you made that decision yet based on how you feel?
You know, I made that decision about 10 times out there. On the 4th green, I was definitely not going. And then, you know, every hole, I'd drive it down the middle and say, oh, I'm fine. And then after that, I couldn't hit long shots the way I wanted. I mean, you saw some of them, the longer irons and the fairway woods just aren't 100%. And, you know, my little girl's riding an international horse show next week. And if it wasn't for that and wasn't for, you know, the feelings that we're all still having over Payne Stewart's tragedy, I think I would definitely be going, but I'm going to get on the phone and talk to my family, and they'll push me one way or another, and I know it'll be the right way.
Well, we know you were thinking about not playing this week. We're all very glad that you did come, and thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
Back to you, fellas.
And that was Chris Perry putting right next to the cup, made par, and now it is Mr. Woods. And if you look at this campaign of 1999, it has been at first David Duval's to shine, and then Tiger's. In fact, I think the biggest challenge maybe Tiger's had the second half of the year is to how to make each acceptance speech sound original. And I hope he's working on it for this week. So the lead 4 with 2 to play as we go to 17.
Geiberger at the 17th, having putted up to here from a long way away. This to say 11 under. Yes. So a 4 at the final hole to tie with Davis Love, or a 3 to take him in the second place.
Or just a formality, Peter, and it has been fun to watch him. I know, Peter, you've played with a lot of great players along the way, as have I, and I never thought we'd see a player reach this level.
No, well, you think looking back historically, if you can't compare time with time, But we've had some people who, during their playing career, if you go back to the turn of the century, no one has seen anyone like Harry Varden, and then along comes Bobby Jones, and then along comes Hogan, and then Nelson, and so on and so on. But at the moment, he is the most wondrous thing in golf. He's a joy to watch.
And he's good for the game.
Absolutely.
218.
Hal Sutton to get to 8 under par. The defending champion, 64 yesterday, put him in contention. 71 today for Hal if he cleans this up. Hal said when he returned from the memorial service, just a brief but incredibly significant few words with Tracy Stewart gave him the strength to find the right place in his mind for his thoughts and his emotions, and to take that next step forward. Seventeenth hole.
Tiger Woods on the tee, just 2 holes left.
I guess you could equate this to trying to run the clock out.
Just an iron off the tee, Judy, because there is water on the left side, about 235 off the tee, well into the rough, but just have to play smart.
Well, there's no real danger holes left for him now, ones where you could really run up a big score, so that was very sensible play from Tiger. And Chris Perry.
Chris with a 3 off the tee, down the left side, cutting back. Curtis, there was a time when this golf course would have been too long for Chris Perry. I remember back in the early 90s, one year, it might have been 91 or 90, when he contended at the PGA Championship, and he really struggled with his distance. 20 yards longer today.
Worked out, got himself into shape. It makes a big difference.
And, well, Halloween's coming up. Tiger's playing wonderful golf. Chris Perry, his second shot, the 71st hole.
Well, I'm surprised at the club choice. It's 207 yards. Chris playing with a 6-iron, the very slightest breeze helping.
Long left is not good. It will funnel down in some water.
Well, that looked like a misjudgment there, quite a serious one. He needed, if he hit that properly, he needed at least one more club. Now Tiger. Tiger might be hitting the 7.
6-iron also for Tiger, just 1 yard closer, 206 all the way back to the hole.
Shot. Thank you.
They're very polite, these two, caddy and player. This is rather nice. Good rapport between the two. They work well. Work well together. To the 18th.
Brent Geiberger, some trouble off the tee. Second shot.
He drove it way right, Michael. He's got a 4-iron. That's from 218 yards. That's clipped the limbs of a little oak tree, but he's caught the right edge of the fairway.
See what he'll have for his third. Geiberger's tied with Davis Love, and now Steve Pate 3 over today. Just never able to get it going. Bogey 2 and 3, and then 9 and 10. A little run at a birdie here on the last hole for Steve. His performance at the World Golf Championship, the Anderson Consulting match play at La Costa in February, catapulted his season success. And the third World Golf Championship event of 1999, the first ever American Express Championship. Sergio on native soil in Spain. Tiger returns to Valderrama, where he competed in the Ryder Cup. See that on ABC Sports, starting on ESPN Thursday, Friday, here on the weekend. And we mentioned Ryder Cup. I have not said congratulations today.
Thank you,
to
Mike.
you. That will make all 7 days. No, so congratulations on the announcement on Monday.
Thank you. I look forward to it very much. It's been a week full of mixed emotions for me, but it's I look forward to it very much. It's going to be fun.
And we'll have a good chance next week with the European players who competed in the Ryder Cup drama of this year to discuss the events of a couple of years at the Belfry. Let's get back over to Peter.
Well, there's a view of the 17th green and the final pair. With Tiger 4 strokes ahead. Davis Love in the clubhouse at 11 under. Brent Geiberger playing the last hole. A 3 would take him into second place on his own if he could get to 12 under. No worse than a 4. All time for second. We'll go and have a look at Geiberger.
So you got 64 pin? Yeah. Okay, that makes it 52 up top of that ridge. You got 12 from there to pin.
This is not a tough shot. Just have to judge the distance, judge how it reacts on the green, and how much it's going to run out.
He's got a perfect lie, Curtis. 64 yards trying to land it at 52, and he's hit that a little bit heavy.
Release.
That's going to be disappointing.
Trying to stay in the tie for second with Davis Love. Don't talk prize money often with the big names, but for a guy like Geiberger just making his mark, it's more significant. 17.
Yes, one shot now at this level when you think the first prize 900,000 and down. It could be a couple of $100,000 a pop if you make a mistake now.
Well, this is about 2 clubs worth of a putt, Peter. I mean, this must be 110, 120 feet.
Well, I guess we've seen those hold before, Judy, on occasion. They don't seem to happen too often when you really want one, but there you see the difference in prize money, and so one mistake can be enormous, and particularly if you're starting out your career as though he's in his 30s now, young Geiberger, but up ahead he's battling away. And Perry here, who's been around a long time and suddenly discovered a way to play, a successful way to play, he suddenly doesn't want to drop a shot on these closing holes.
Well, this putt from the front right portion of the green really works somewhat downhill all the way. In the early part of the putt, it will be swinging from his right. It'll straighten up, but as it dies, if it moves at all, it is still continuing on to the left. Really requires great touch and feel to get this in a 3-foot circle around the hole.
It's doing well. It's doing very well indeed. But one of those left. All those pars in a row. Up to 18.
Long par putt. Man who's tied for second right now.
You know, I can honestly say when you're trying to win a golf tournament, you never think of the money. But when you're in this position that Davis Love, Brent Geiberger, Chris Perry, you have to protect yourself and be careful because you know you're going to spend a lot of money.
Peter?
Tiger for a 3. And he's just... He really does appear to now have the knowledge of how to win when he has an opportunity. Nicklaus had that skill. Jack would tell you he probably lost a couple of tournaments, championships that he should have won, but they were so rare they fade in the memory. Others you can think of have lots of opportunities to win and let them slip through their fingers, but I think Tiger at a very young age has found the secret so far of attacking, defending quickly to the 18th.
The difference between tying for second and tying for third is $120,000. So with the bogey, all Brent Geiberger can hope for is that he stays tied with Chris Perry after shooting 69 today. And back to Perry.
And here's Perry, this very missable little putt for a par 4. This to stay at 10 under.
He's made quite a few of these today and had to. But this just maybe a little bit from the right, down grain. Just speed is not a problem. Just get it started on line.
Good putt. Kept his nerve there. Now he needs a 4 down the last hole. No worse than a 4 to tie for 3rd spot. Tiger strides on. I suppose golf's the only game where players keep their own score. I can't think of any other game where they're responsible for the score too. Still, mistakes are made. People sign for the wrong cards. Perhaps we ought to make it so that each player is responsible for the other person's score, and if mistakes are made, they're disqualified as well. Or don't have them score at all and have them for, you know, it goes on and on the permutations. Just leave everything alone. The game's not. Hello. Took the wrong turning in the safari park.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yes.
This looks very good. Oh, shouldn't be there. Terrified his wife might spot him.
Up by 4 with 1 to play.
The best feeling in golf when you can't lose.
To the right, saw it come down off the tree. Now the race to get the front row seat. Chris Perry tees it up on 18, tied with Brent Geiberger. Birdie would get Perry into a tie with Davis Love for 2nd.
And he knows that, players. He knows if he birdies the last, he can tie for 2nd. But you have to continue to play aggressively. If you back off, anytime in golf you just want to back off and protect yourself, protect your lead, you don't play very well. And that's not Chris's best right there. Maybe a little bit of nerves coming up the left side, not cutting it. Hands working a little bit too quick.
Well, here's Steve Melnick now.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. It is a pleasure to introduce from our presenting sponsor, the Southern Company, Alan Martin, Chief Marketing Officer, and to his right, Tim Fincham, the the Commissioner of the PGA Tour. And Tim, it's been a rugged week for all of us, but I think a very successful year nonetheless.
Well, under the circumstances with a great tragedy, it came together very well, and a lot of that was because of Southern Company and with Alan's leadership pulling things together and providing a couple of aircraft for the services, and the players coming together all week, and of course Jackie Burke, the Houston Golf Association, earlier, all these folks just pulling together and really made it a special week and an uplifting week given the tragedy.
Alan, we love having the Southern Company a part of the PGA Tour, and your involvement this week has been particularly meaningful.
Thanks, Steve. It's a great pleasure for the Southern Company to be associated with PGA Tour and PGA Golf. It's a great experience. This week certainly has not been one that everyone has had golf in the front of their mind, but I think as Tim said, the way it's been pulled off, I think it's been a tribute to Payne Stewart.
Well, I think it's a real tribute to the sense of family that we all feel out here, Tim.
Well, that's what came through all week long, the players reaching out to each other and to the family, and I think it was great the way these guys held up and played such great golf as a tribute to Payne, given the circumstances. It was very difficult for them, it was emotionally draining, but they did it as true professionals, and that's what Payne really was.
Tim, thank you. Alan, thank you as always. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Steve. The Southern Company, and not just in America, but one of the world's leading independent producers of power, the International Energy Company. That's the trophy that will go to Tiger Woods. This is the rare event that Tiger has played 3 times before this year and not finished in the top 10. Curtis, you won the Tour Championship when it was under a different title in '88 at Pebble Beach. What does this mean to a player at the end of the season when you not only beat the best, which we talk about in the majors and other turns, but you've beat the best among the players who are having the best season?
Well, it means a lot. I mean, anytime you win against a tremendous field, it's a great, you know, honor and privilege to play against them and then to win. But, you know, this is a little bit different. Normally, when you play this tournament, there's so much at stake, maybe player of the year, money, title, things like that. And in 1998, when Tom Kite and I played against each other, actually we're in a playoff, there was a great deal at stake. There was the money title, like I said, the player of the year. And so we were quite nervous. All of those awards have already been taken this year. And so there's a lot of pride out here and a lot of money as well.
The tour awards ceremony is going to be a delivery of a big crate somewhere at Isleworth to Tiger. Here are your trophies. Have a good season in 2000. Here's Perry's second.
It's 91 to carry. Try to run it on there. I think you just hit it up the left center. Just got to keep it on the left side of that bunker.
I'm saying drive it, cut it, and run it on, or try to hit it in the air and carry it.
Well, just actually put it down enough. It looks like it's get some compression and jump it, you know.
Like one less?
No, not like that. You got 220 to the hole, and it's just about cross.
Chris has a 5-iron in his hand. The lie is just good enough that he can get the club, I think cleanly on the back of the golf ball.
I don't think I can carry that bunker.
No, you got to go
220 yards in.
Judy, what happened off the tee shot?
I was a little ways from the tee, but I believe he went with the 3-wood, trying to ensure the fairway started at left, and it just stayed there, Curtis.
Carl Hart, Chris's caddy, in conversation. The last minute or so.
Well, this is a 5-iron, as Judy says it is. It better jump. And when it hits the ground, it better run out a bunch.
Well, he gets a good look at the front left opening.
Sounded thick.
A lot of grass caught there.
Up and down to stay tied for third with Geiberger. Unless he holds that shot, Davis Love will finish solo second and take home $540,000. Woods.
Well, I did not get the front row seat. wasn't the first to get here. It is 168 yards to the hole. He would have to weave it up and over the trees. And he took it down underneath, and it is going to run just to the front of the green. Pretty terrific shot given the circumstance.
Tiger, the victory in hand. Back to see it in a moment. More of the 99 Tour Championship presented by Southern Company after this message and a word from your ABC station. You're watching the PGA Tour on ABC Sports. Live, Chris Perry's third.
Go. Go.
Looked like he mishit it right from the start, Mike. Looked like he kind of half topped it almost, bellied the ball, and never got it moving forward. Still have to hit down on it. Still have to make sure you hit those little chips, chip and run solidly.
Guys, just go into the cameras.
Tiger's second shot, certainly an illustration of the every shot in the book ability that he has and has shown here in this stretch, which will now make it 7 of the last 10 tournaments that he started with victories.
I keep saying, too, a lot of people have the ability to hit shots, but do you have the intestinal fortitude to try him on the last 3 or 4 holes when it means so very much? Tiger seems to do that. A lot of that is being 23 years old as well. But when you have the confidence in your ability and you do try different shots, Trevino comes to mind. He always liked to hit different shots. It didn't matter where in the tournament was. But when you do that, it makes your ability even greater.
In the world of sports right now, with Michael Jordan's void not filled in the NBA, almost unfillable, same true of Wayne Gretzky in the NHL. The superstar in baseball, Mark McGwire, plays on a losing team over the last couple of years. And with Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, Steve Young perhaps at the end of their NFL careers, I think it's a pretty safe argument to make that there is no individual more dominant in his sport and no one who's had an Athlete of the Year type of season this year in the neighborhood of that man. Tiger's father, Earl Woods. Here to see what will be his son's 14th victory.
You wonder if he really knew all this was going to happen years ago. You know, 3 junior amateur championships, 3 national amateur championships, yes, but that's a different animal altogether. When you turn pro, these guys can really go day in and day out, and he's certainly improved and done just that, but you're never quite sure if a guy's going to be able to handle it or not.
Of course, the state of his game contributed, but I don't think I would dismiss in this week when everyone's mental toughness was called on to proceed with business what Earl Woods has done so early in Tiger's life, and talking about being mentally strong, had to in some ways help him through this week. Let's see if Chris Perry can make a 4 here. No matter what he makes, his check will be somewhere over $200,000 and add to a top 10 money list season, and playing well and going over to Valderrama with another $1 million purse, an opportunity to add.
Well, this certainly has been his breakout year. He's played phenomenally consistent.
He had parred every hole from 4 through 17. Drop a shot here at the last. So it'll be Woods alone in first, $900,000. Love alone in second, $540,000. Brett Geiberger will finish third, make $345,000. Perry's fourth will be $240,000.
I'm not quite sure from 6 inches or so if I'm going to line it up, though. Just being very, very careful.
On the second day, which equaled the low round of the championship, put him in position.
What else can we say, Mike? I don't think there's anything to say. I think the world knows it. This is going to be including in Germany. This will be 7 out of 10 weeks. I think we were saying earlier, Steve said he didn't know if we'd ever see something like that. I always felt like I'd see somebody like this in my lifetime because the athletes were getting so big and strong. There had to be somebody who was doing it from the very start, did it all a little bit better than the next guy.
The legend grows. The best season of the quarter century on the PGA Tour. Tiger Woods' 7th win of the season. He's cinched up the money title, gone over the $5 million mark.
Thanks. You did the plan well. Oh, I had to.
Robin Roberts will join you from New York after this bit of business, and then we'll come back here, talk to Tiger, and have a parting word on Payne after this. We're back at Champions here in Houston, where Tiger Woods has won the Tour Championship. Cemented the Player of the Year as if there was any question. Also the money title, beating Davis Love by 4, Brent Geiberger by 5. Today it was what Tiger's had to do quite often lately. Just don't lose it on Sunday. Stay in position to win it. 4 pars to open. Par 5, 5th, the tee shot. 4! That he missed to the right, but as we've been saying all week, things are working out for Tiger.
Right. The more you practice, the better you get, the luckier you get. He caught a very nice lie there. Hit the second to the right a little bit, just over the bunker, but okay.
Now the third shot, and a good lie over where the gallery had been walking for this one as well.
Boy, a good shot there, but you know, Mike, I still can't forget the guy who was best at that on tour was Payne Stewart over the years. He was a wonderful pitcher of the ball.
We saw that at Pinehurst this year for sure. The birdie putt for Woods. Even when he put it in trouble off the tee, it worked out. 14 under par. He dropped a shot at the par 3/8, then on to the 9th, this long eagle attempt. Dominated on the par 5s again. So often one of the factors in the winning equation.
Well, he can knock it on most of them too, where par 4s is equal for everybody.
1 under for the opening 9, and on to 14, second shot, par 4.
And now it's just safe, smart play. Everything is played away from the water, away from, you know, trouble. They're a good, solid shot.
And unknowing, Davis Love had made a birdie ahead at 17, so Woods was leading by just 3 when he stepped up over this putt. And almost like there's a sense of somebody may be getting closer somewhere else. Door slammed once again. Missed the fairway at 18. His lead was 4. And second shot.
And he reached into his bag of tricks and watch this shot. Kept it so very low, just carried the rough. Didn't make much difference, but a wonderful shot anyway.
What we've seen at this golf club amongst the oaks and pines in northwest Houston, the huge greens have left long putts for all the players all week. And Tiger judged them very well. Three birdies, 1 bogey, 2 under par. The total 69 for the day. 15 under for the championship. Tiger Woods, the winner by 4 with Judy Rankin now.
Tiger, an emotionally draining week. It ends up a pleasing week for you anyway, individually, and you seem to have it in control all day today.
Well, today I felt very solid about my game. I didn't hit the shots that I wanted to starting out the round, but I just maintained my patience. And this is a wonderful golf course to protect a lead on because the greens are so big. So if you don't feel comfortable, just dump the ball on the green, sit on the green, take your 30, 40 footer, 2-putt, and move on. And that's what I did until I started to feel a little more comfortable about my golf swing.
The golf course taxes you with the big greens, though, and trying to manage shots from the tee and pulling correct clubs and so on.
No doubt about it, because you have such a wide, expansive green to hit to that you almost feel guilty if you miss the green because it's so big. And on top of that, you almost feel as if you protect too much, you're going to have some long putts. And you need to fire some pins, but you can't get careless either, miss it on the short side.
You know, you've had every reason to be confident your entire professional career, but since May, you have been on such a tremendous run. And could you speak to the confidence that you feel at the moment?
I'm feeling very comfortable about my golf swing. It's taken, let's see, probably the middle of '97 to the week before the Byron Nelson before I really felt like I gelled my golf swing together, because Butch and I kind of tore it apart and kind of reconstructed it, and it's been a tough process trying to play last year with a swing that I knew wasn't good enough to play out here or to win, you know, week after week. Or I just felt I had to contend with my mind, and that's what I was able to do last year. But now my game is where I'd like to have it with the mind, and now I'm starting to win golf tournaments.
You talked 2 weeks ago before the tournament in Orlando started that you thought you were playing well enough to have a chance to win the last 3. You've won 2 of those, and now you will move on to Spain.
I'm excited about going to Spain, playing the American Express Championship. It's going to be a great tournament. Obviously, with the way I've been playing, I'm really looking forward to getting there and playing, no doubt about it.
Looking for another chance at Valderrama?
I would like to have another run at it. After what happened in Spain last time I played, I'd like to have another go at that golf course.
Congratulations, Tiger. Thanks for talking with us, and we'll see you in Spain. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Judy. Tiger Woods, the champion here at Houston. Our final word on the week after this. Tiger wins by 4 over Davis Love. Curtis, you've seen far more golf than I ever will. $5.6 million in 20 starts on the PGA Tour. Is there another season that you've seen that compares to what Tiger's done this year?
Well, first you have to forget about the money because the purses are growing tremendously. But, you know, you have to look back at Watson's couple of great years, Trevino, Nicklaus. There's some pretty good players to be compared to. I know that.
Nick Price in '94.
Exactly.
With his 6 victories as well. And we're drawing a line there, you know, probably from 1960 on. And you go back, and you guys mentioned earlier the seasons of Hogan and Snead, and they're great years.
The difference here, he's 23 years old, and he's doing this.
The field of 29, how they all finished. One more event in the PGA Tour season. This used to always be the finale, but next week it is off to Spain for the World Golf Championship. That's it for our final round coverage of the 99 Tour Championship, presented by Southern Company. As mentioned, it's the World Golf Championships, the American Express Championship. Next week, we'll see you Saturday and Sunday right here on ABC Sports for coverage of the last official event on the PGA Tour in 1999. So coming up next, except for those of you on the West Coast, it's World News Tonight Sunday. Of course, some tragic happenings in the world, and we'll have those covered for you. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Well, as we remember Tiger's success this year at the Tour Championship, we pass along that the Stewart family has asked us to relay to you, for all who've made inquiries about donations, it would be appreciated that any donations in Payne's memory be made to the First Baptist Foundation, the First Baptist Church of Orlando, 3000 South John Young Parkway, Orlando, Florida. Attention, Reverend J.B. Collingsworth. And so it's over, a week the likes of which this tour has never seen. You see it on Friday or Sunday after 18 holes, the handshake between golfers who have just finished a round, the 18th hole salutation of good playing, then the race to pack up, get in the cars, and move on. With different players playing different schedules, it can be weeks, even months, before paths may cross again. That's why in some ways this all doesn't seem real. You keep thinking that next season's going to start, and on some range, somewhere on the West Coast when the tour gets started, we'll see Payne, resplendent as ever, giving his gum an all-time workout, moments away from some playfully acerbic comment. But it's not going to happen. There's no solitude in sport like that of a golfer. And this week, the rest of us, those not in the fraternity, had the chance to see that while they play alone, they really are one out here. The sense of loss came so close to the players because they saw themselves, their wives, their children in Payne, Tracy, Chelsea, and Aaron. You know, the normal conversation topics of severe greens, golf course design, clothes, kids, was replaced by perspective and appreciation for what they truly have. History tells us that we say now, but we see life in a different light. It's only a matter of time until our actions return to normal. In 3 to 4 months, those 3 to 4 footers will mean just as much as they did a week ago, and next year there'll be a 30th person in the field at the Tour Championship and some award named for Payne Stewart. But for anyone here, for anyone who was touched by the man, there's no forgetting him, no replacing him, no substitute for the memories he gave us all. The lesson for us, maybe we should better appreciate those who play the games we root for, the games we enjoy, because as we see all too often lately, we never know when they'll hear our cheers again.